We've got ignition. 2. We've got liftoff. 1. We've got RIP takeoff, y'all. Welcome to another edition of the Self Luv Show, Chicago's very own. Today we're excited to have this guest in the building, Matt Stoddard. He served our nation honorably. This is a TATN and the Self Luv Show first. We got a lot to unpack here. Drones. We got a whole lot to unpack about drones today. Lessons, not lectures. Chi-Town, you can cue the show when you're ready. You guys, please like, share, and subscribe. Get this link out here. Oh, my fault, self. I gotta kill that. Cue the show when you're ready. Cue the show when you're ready.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
There's a difference between a police report and a statement. A police report is the police side of the story. You gotta always remember that. A police report is the police's report, is the name. A lot of people have been getting back from a lot of years. Do your homework on John Burrs, a crooked officer in Chicago, forging people's statements. But yeah, he got his ass took down. 12 is so bogus and crooked. They okay, let me see. Boom. Like, say this, say, okay, like, on our block, like, we used to be on our block, we out there, doing our 1-2. So how 12 would do it, say, they hit the block, we all out there, it's rain and rock and blows, throwing rocks and blows everywhere, you feel me? So what the police would do there is by, even if they don't even like it, they might not like it, they might find it on the floor. I know, FYBJ Maine ran for me last time, so they'll grab it, put it on you, right, and they report. Out the bam, I found it in his pocket.
In entering upon this course of instruction, each of you should, so far as possible, lay aside for the time being all previous theories and beliefs. By so doing, you will be saved the trouble of trying
All the way through the show
to put, quote, new wine into old wineskins, end quote. Luke chapter 5, verse 37. If there's anything as we proceed which you don't understand or agree with, just let it lie passively in your mind until you have enjoyed the entire show. For many statements that would at first arouse antagonism and discussion will be clear and easily accepted a little farther on. After the show is over, if you wish to return to your old beliefs and ways of living, you are at perfect liberty to do so. But for the time being, be willing to become as a little child, for said the Master in spiritual things, quote, except ye become as little children, ye shall in no wise enter into the kingdom of heaven, end quote. Matthew chapter 18, verse 3. If at times there seems to be repetition, please remember, the Self Luv Show is a lesson, not a lecture.
There were a couple of people in professional football that did not want me to succeed in the movie industry. I know for a fact that one of these individuals contacted the head of Universal Studios. But my allies were able to say, now wait a minute, we know this guy, we know that he has a talent, we know that we can make money from him. There is no reason to blackball him or to hinder his ability or opportunity to make a living. Not because I was black and not because I was a trained actor, mainly because I was an individual who understood that a top athlete, a champion, should quit at the right time. And I quit because I wanted to. I wanted to look out for my welfare. And this was opposed by certain people in the National Football League. They felt that I should have been happy to play as long as they wanted me to, and then quit when they said quit, and be happy to come back and coach in some capacity or make about $30,000 a year. They resented my attitude of independence.
And even in this instance, if I could be of service to a 9-year-old girl or a 19-year-old woman or girl who wants to be a woman, is to really remember that self-love is the best way that you can receive love from anybody else, because it's coming from you. A lot of times we forget that. We look externally for this love. We look externally for this feeling of validation and adoration and approval, and it has to come from within.
Please like, share, and subscribe. Self Love Show starts in 1 minute. 1 minute. Please share the link.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
You can't handle the truth, soldier.
Are you on my frequency? Are you on my frequency?
The truth shall set you free. I gotta jump that share. Production, I gotta jump that share. All righty. It's on me. All right. 10. All right, y'all. We in the building. I don't know what's going on with my mouse. Yes, sir. All right, y'all. Welcome to the Self Love Show. Self Love Vision. This is Self Love Show. I'm your co-host, 9 Mills, and you can find us on TATN. This Ain't That Network. All praise to the ancestors, the Most High, and my beloved late Mama Sky. Today we're going to unpack U.S. drone technology, the operators, technology, and the future. The United States is one of the leading countries in the world when it comes to everything, pretty much. But when it comes to drone development and deployment, according to the IDC, the United States market for robotic drone hardware exceeded $9 billion in 2019, with a year-over-year growth rate of 15.6%. The United States also represents about 14% of the global market for drone hardware. But what does it take to operate these drones? And what kind of technology is behind them? Today's episode, we're going to dive into some of the most interesting aspects of drone operations and technology, such as how drones are used for various purposes, such as inspection, security, surveying, delivery, maybe even seeing UAPs. how drone operators are trained and certified, and what skills and tools they need to fly these drones safely and efficiently, how drone technology is evolving from hardware to software, from sensors to automatic intelligence or AI, from communication to autonomy, how drone regulations and policies can shape the future of this industry, and what challenges and opportunities lie ahead. We're going to hear from a retired drone operating expert, Matt Stoddard. He's going to share his insights and life experiences with us. And of course, we intend to have much fun along the way. So we got our riddle, and then we're going to play a game at the end with our guests, as we do with all our guests. So stay tuned for an exciting and informative journey into this world of U.S. drone operators and technology. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the Self Love Show. These are lessons, not lectures. We are live and live in color. Today is Sunday, July 30th, my bad, 2:17 p.m. in the Shy. And as always, you spirits can be anywhere in this magnanimous universe, but thankfully, we all chose to be here together. Here, together. What down, brother Wordsmith? What you manifesting today, sir?
Love, man. You know me, manifesting love. Check.
Same here, bro. Pure, magnificent, unfiltered. Some say harsh, some say, tough, but it's love just the same, good brother.
No doubt.
Hey, what's been going on in your neck of the Shy since we last did our thing, brother?
Oh, man. Had a week of heat. Man, the heat was bearing down. Let me tell you. Heat and rain. It was tripped out.
You still don't believe in global warming?
Well, it's cyclical, so I don't think it has anything to do with us. But
fair enough. That's fair enough. And the trouble with my mouse today is, reacting late. Might be the internet. Yeah, so. But that, I'm pretty sure the spooks will be monitoring this live here. And we've clarified, our brother here today is not a spook. He's never been a spook. So, me and Self Love, we like to have fun on the show. So just want to clarify that. All right, y'all. Yeah, so what to expect today on the Self Love Show? We always started with our quote of the day. All right, we start our quote of the day. And then we go from there to our more growth and development video. That's our platform. That's what this channel and this show stands upon. And then we have our Tattoo Tyranny segment. We run a video of our government interacting with the citizens or patriots. And we like to decide if they're doing what we're paying them to do, if they're, following their oath, or if they're oath-breaking, tyrannical SOBs, which goes against the grain of, what the United States was founded upon. Of course, we have our dome tease. That's our riddle. The mind is a terrible, terrible thing to waste. And then, of course, today's topic we're excited about. We have an ex-United States military drone specialist. I learned a lot as I've been researching this journey. They're not all just sitting back in air conditioning strip malls with a PlayStation joystick in their hand. So there's a lot to be unpacked here. And then we close it out with my personal favorite part of the whole shebang, and that's where this brother to my right over here summarizes the entire show in a bit of off the top of his dome, off the rip prose, which I would say is metaphysical and genius, good brother.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. And so you guys make sure, like, share, and subscribe. We definitely need that. But you got any announcements, good brother?
Oh, man. Happy Born Day to Jackie Jackson.
Slacko. Happy born day.
AKA Slacko.
Yeah, and happy belated the big 5-0 for Kenyatta too, man. He appeared on the show
a couple times.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy belated. Did you make it to his shebang?
Man, no. I didn't make it to his shebang. I didn't make it to the picnic.
Oh wow. Well, we'll talk about that. Oh wow, you must have been kicking it. All right.
No work. And then yeah, had other things going on. I couldn't go to the shebang after work.
Well, somebody's got to pay your bills. You know what I mean? Somebody's got to pay. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and that's pretty much my announcements. I hope Bronny is on the mend. LeBron James' son.
Yes.
Yeah, we definitely wish him well. Man, flat out.
Teenager, bro.
Flat out. All right, you guys. So if we have any ex-military, I saw brother Asa Patterson out there. He's a Marine out there. You can't say former Marine. They don't like that. Any, former military personnel, anyone who has experience in this, this is designed to be an interactive chat. We've discussed with our guest, his right to say no comment. He's had some high security levels as well in his history. In his professional history. So, but feel free to chime in, ask questions and things of that nature. Enough of my yapping. I'm going to turn it over to Brother Wordsmith so he can go ahead and handle his business.
Yes, sir. Welcome. Thank y'all for being here. It's not us without y'all. It doesn't matter if we're just talking to ourselves. Welcome to the Self Love Show. And as Nine has broken down, we are going to unpack drone operations with the specialist ex-military. Phone lines are open. We have a very important video that we need you to watch. Nine mentioned it. The Silverback More Growth and Development video, which we are building the Self Love Nation off of. But for that, we have the Self Love Show quote of the day. We're not going after people. We're going after their phones in the hopes that the person on the other end of that missile is the bad guy. Once again, we're not going after people. We're going after their phones in the hopes that the person on the other end of that missile is the bad guy. And that's Jeremy Scalhill, an author.
Yeah, you gotta have your locations on so you can get the advertisements. Man, it sounds to me like they can use your cell phone. And we'll talk to Matt about this later, but they can use your cell phone to locate you and then zap you from the sky.
Right. That's crazy. Silverback More Growth and Development Platform. Number 1, repair our nation via reparations. We demand our silver back. Number 2, to connect our breadwinners with our activists. And 3, show an accurate depiction of African American Chi-Town. 4, to shine a light on positive influence. 5, heal our community one person at a time. 6, to provide an unfiltered platform for our influencers. 7, recycle the black dollar. 8, to provide mentors for the mentorless. 9, to close the gap between us and our pink kinsmen.
We're closing the gap.
Oh, and 10, protect our women, children, and men by any and all means necessary. Thanks. Oh boy, this computer is Very, very sensitive. Very sensitive.
Well, mine's doing some stuff too. Huh? The spooks come out at night.
Woo, woo, woo.
The spooks come out at the spooks come out. The spooks come out at night.
Huh, huh, huh.
The spooks come out at night.
Man.
Yeah.
I mean, it was actually me, but I was moving, trying to move the mouse. It stopped share. I'm like, goodness.
Just because you're paranoid doesn't mean the world isn't out to get you. So, all right. So if y'all missed last week's show, because we go there here on the Self Love Show, we covered crop circles out there, science, art, or cap. Huh?
Absolutely.
Man, crop circles.
Man, full of information. I suggest you run, check it out. Check it out. As soon as you get through watching this program.
Yeah. If you want to think inside of the box, log off from the Self Love Show and TATN. If you want to think outside of the box, then what?
Then tune in and watch every program that we've put on since we started.
And like, share, and subscribe. We'll have you break down the science of self. If you remind me, definitely later in the show. So if we need to maybe break that down going into break, if you can remember.
Okay.
All right. But self-love, did you see Pac-Man and Cujo? Pac-Man and Cujo.
Don't think so. I'm pretty much unplugged.
That's all right. Our crack production staff loaded up a video for you, and this is fair use, you guys, and big ups to Inside Edition for the content.
You may have seen this disturbing video of a police dog attacking an unarmed truck driver who had his hands up. It turns out this is not by any means an isolated case of a canine attack. And we warn you, the video in this report may be upsetting for some viewers.
There's growing outrage over the police officer who released his dog on a black man who was surrendering.
Do not release the dog with his hands up. Don't. Do not get the dog off of it.
Their drama begins as the Ohio Highway Patrol chase a truck driver who they tried to pull over for having a missing mud flap, but he failed to stop. At one point, he does pull over, but with a state trooper training his rifle on the truck, the trucker hits the gas again, and the chase is back on. Spike strips finally bring the truck to a stop.
Come to me. You know one bit.
The driver emerges with his hands up. Then, despite repeated warnings,
Don't release the dog. Do not release the dog with his hands up.
an officer from the local police department releases his dog.
Do not release the dog with his hands up. Don't. Do not get the dog off of it. Get the dog off of it.
The trucker's screams are chilling. A woman state trooper clutches her hands to her face in apparent disbelief. The trucker is put in handcuffs and given first aid.
Nobody's trying to hurt you.
Just let a dog bite me.
All you had to do was stop, brother.
I did stop. I don't feel
20
safe.
miles ago.
I did.
The driver, identified as Jadarius Rose, was taken to a local hospital for treatment. Critics of K9 units say this is not an isolated case. This Salt Lake City man told our Lisa Guerrero that he was bitten by a police dog when he was on the ground with his hands up.
I'm on the ground. Why are you biting me?
The officer has pleaded not guilty to aggravated assault. And this man said he was bitten on the neck as he was on the ground in Lafayette, Indiana.
They training them dogs to go for the jugular.
Wrongdoing by a special prosecutor. We showed this latest video to Brian Higgins, assistant professor at John Jay College of Criminal Justice.
Maybe if he took off and ran, you would deploy a dog, but while he's in the process of complying, going to his knees, no.
Get the dog off of it.
The truck driver was charged with failing to comply with the officers. Meanwhile, a police review board will evaluate the body cam video to determine if excessive force was used.
What? So mud flap. It was a mud flap incident, first of all.
Yeah, that's sickening.
You had the lieutenant doing what the lieutenant or the white shirt doing what he was supposed to be doing. He told that guy multiple times, do not release the dog with his hands up.
Yeah, it's sickening. That is sickening. That's tyranny. I mean, it's no way to say that other than,
Well, they got to review the video and see
if it's
yeah.
We saw the video. That's enough.
Who needs to be retrained, the pig or the dog, in your estimation?
The pig. The pig. I mean, at this point, I don't know if you're going to retrain that dog. And the other dog was going for the jugular.
Jugular.
Yeah, that's that dog might need to be retrained or put down,
retired,
put down. I mean, you can't. I mean, you can't really retire it because it's gonna attack somebody.
But that dog probably feared for his life. That's why he went for the jugular.
Or the cop did. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Well, he's a cop too. He's a cop, so I mean, if you kill that dog as a civilian, then you're gonna get charged with murdering a police person.
Yeah, but Jadarius, I don't know if you wanted your trucking license, but driving 20 miles, without stopping.
Hey, yeah, well, when he did pull over and they get out with assault rifle pointing at him, he pulled back off.
Yeah, but he's got to pull over right away.
He didn't pull over right away in the first place? No, he didn't. Right. What was he hiding?
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Apparently they found nothing because they would have said it. But exactly, bro. Like,
and they were pulling him over for a mud flap.
A mud flap. That's what I'm saying. And he's a commercial driver. Like, you got to pull over. You got to pull over, bro. You got to pull over. I mean, seriously, the dog wouldn't have even been on the scene. The guys with the rifles wouldn't have been out there if he would have just pulled over. Yeah. So, but tyranny.
100%.
Yeah, tyranny. All right, you guys. So, like, share, subscribe. We'd like to hear if you guys think it's tyranny. Put a capital T or a thumbs down in the chat. If you like what your government's doing, breaking the oath from time to time, then you go ahead and give that a thumbs up and a capital L that says you like it. Or you can maybe put a picture of your bum in the chat as well. Right, Self? Yeah, put a bum in there. All right, so let's move on, Self. This is a new segment we're adding. This one's called Karen Watch. I don't know if you saw the video. Poolside Karen out there?
Not sure, but, I'm pretty much unplugged. So.
Well, we did a show on Mouthpiece Included about, Black swimming history last week, melanated swimming. So this is, why I kind of put this up there. Fair use, Inside Edition.
Now the latest woman to be dubbed a Karen for giving people a hard time going about their daily lives. This time it happened at an apartment complex pool. Here's Lisa Guerrero.
This bikini-clad woman is being dubbed by some as Poolside Karen after screaming at a family enjoying themselves at a pool.
You have a Mexican party in the pool. Trash.
The woman yells for the Latino family to leave, even though they say they had every right to be at the condominium complex in Lakewood, Colorado.
Go back down to Denver.
The woman who posted the video says she was at the pool with her boyfriend who lives at the condo. She told Inside Edition that when they first got there, the so-called Poolside Karen asked to see their key fob, which they say they showed, proving they lived there. But that didn't stop the women from hurling terrible insults. When the bikini lady sees she's being recorded, she goes on the attack.
You can't just record me.
Her male companion tries to calm her down, but she screams more insults, this time about designer clothing, of all things.
You don't even know where your face is.
The so-called Poolside Karen is identified as Blair Featherman. On her job profile, she's described as an expert in feng shui, the art of creating calm and harmony through interior design. She sent this photo and message to Inside Edition. station. The video was spliced and obviously did not show the whole event that transpired. It was a bad day for all involved, and I apologize for the way I responded.
You have a Mexican party in the pool. Trash.
This is what you call, I call this the Beverly Hills Housewives effect, the Housewives of Atlanta, the Love and Hip Hop. You know, I guarantee you, I'll put my next, check on the fact that that lady you just saw, Karen, whatever her last name was, I guarantee you, she watches the Housewife, one of those housewives.
Oh yeah. Agreed. Yeah, that's terrible.
She came up there and demanded to see the key fobs, and then they showed the key fobs. But I do believe her, though. I don't know if the video's been spliced, but I hear her on, you know, they don't put up everything. You know what I mean? I wanted to hear some facts over just how many, I don't want to say Hispanics because that doesn't matter, but just how many were there? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like how many lived there?
They made it seem like it was only the two people there.
Yeah.
That's what Inside Edition made it seem like. You know, I'm not sure. And she talking about the way she was talking, it was like a whole fiesta there.
Yeah, but are you signing up with her for your feng shui training?
Man, she's gonna make it nice and peaceful. she knows how to be calm and calm everything down.
And big ups to brother Asa and also Sharuka in the chat. Big ups, right?
Yes, y'all.
All right, y'all. But y'all know today is about we have our guest Matt Stoddard in the building, ex-U.S. military drone specialist. These are lessons, not lectures. So here's someone who literally has actually done what we're going to be discussing. So this would be great to, you know, have exchange of information, as Self Love says. But before we go there, let's do our riddle, our dome teaser, and then we'll get the show on the road. Here we go, Self. Because you're the only one who ever matriculates and processes using your brain and solves this. You know, I bet Matt could probably solve it, but we'll see. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if Matt solved it. You know what I mean? You know, these guys out there in the chat aren't processing. But here we go. One rabbit saw 9 elephants while going to the river. You want to pull your pen out, paper? One rabbit saw 9 elephants while going to the river. Every elephant saw 3 monkeys going toward the river. Each monkey had 1 parrot in each hand. How many animals are going towards the river? One more time. You might want to get your pen and pad out. I'll try to type it in the chat. One rabbit saw 9 elephants while going to the river. Every elephant saw 3 monkeys going towards the river. Each monkey had 1 parrot in each hand. How many animals are going towards the river? I don't see any thumbs up. Of course, I'm not.
Oh, yeah, you weren't looking.
You got a thumbs up?
Oh yeah, it's in the chat.
All right. So in the meantime, while I'm typing this up, enough of the appetizers out there. Self love.
Let's quench the self-love nation's thirst.
Facts. Let's get the thirst quenched. Big ups to production. I think we do have short promo. And next week on the Self Love Show, Matt the Spook in the building, talking about some esoteric stuff. I'm gonna hit you up shortly, Matt. Matt said he can talk for hours about drones. That'll be good. Yeah, we'll do that. You know, either before or after we talk drones with Matt. Matt say we woke. He sound like codes, don't he? Yeah, I think we're gonna have our first white guest appearing. Ex-military, some sort of spook. I think he was on our ass, but we'll see. But Yeah, and drone operator, did a lot.
Chock full of information. Man, guarantee it. Y'all need to just go on and tune in.
Oh yeah. Y'all need to go ahead and tune in. How many animals are going towards the river? All right, y'all. I took the time to type the riddle into the chat for you guys to give you guys a chance to matriculate. Self Love has made his guess, which I won't share with you guys at this time, but I will share. Self Love, you are incorrect. You are incorrect. I'll go ahead and, since it's an incorrect guess, Self guessed 16. Wrong. Can you be wrong if you matriculated and use your brain to get closer to the actual solution? Can you? We don't know. So I did want to, before we get started, this show is being brought to you by CW Consulting. It's Matt's affiliated with this company. They help people license companies and then keep track of their licensing to make sure it's, kept up to date. They help them also raise capital to pursue their dreams. And he teaches them how to, finesse, if you will, the tax code in the state of Oklahoma. You guys may remember we had Senator Connie Johnson on our show from the great state of Oklahoma. And, they've got a CPA and they've built a solid team, so, they're helping cats who are unfortunate to get onto SSDI, because we all know that that's a mind screw. It's just ridiculous what people have to go through to get the awards and what's due to them. And he also helps veterans out there get 100% disability. So that's CW Consulting. So if we can go ahead, production, and bring our honored guests into the building. Let's see here. And Matt, if you can just give us a brief background, a brief, let everybody know, what your background is as we hop into it. And thank you so much for your service, Matt. I honestly mean that. Thank you so much for, what you did. And, I know there's a lot of, sacrifice and loss that comes with that. But if you can go ahead and tell the people about your background, and then we'll jump into it, sir.
All right, that's great. Yeah, I was in the Army in 2003. I joined the Army. I was the third class to go through the Shadow US program. And then I did 7 years active, and then I did about 6 to the government contractor. But now I'm looking at Oklahoma, and that's pretty much all I do.
Okay, good. So we can do something. Having a little trouble hearing you.
I need to speak up. These headphones aren't computer ones. I have some computer ones in the room if you can't hear me too well, but I can speak up too, brother. So
yeah, whichever's better. If you can maybe speak up a little bit. I mean, Tori does our production. I don't know if it's anything he can suggest, but all right. So the first part, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, you just speak up initially, and then we'll see if we need to make the change.
Yeah. All right. So Matt, these are questions or variants of questions we ask every guest before we get into why you're here. The Self Love Show is not a debate show. This is essentially your show today to, speak your truths. My mom used to say, there's my truth, there's your truth, and then there's God's truth. So, and if we don't get this information from the horse's mouth, which is me, you, and Brother Wordsmith here, these national media pundits will never have our story to be told. So let's just start with the early life. when and where were you born? And if you can kind of describe what it was like growing up there during those times.
I was born in 1983 in Oklahoma City. I went to high school at Dell City, a suburb of Oklahoma City on the southeast side. And then I joined the Army. But growing up was amazing when I was a kid. It was diverse. You know, there was a lot of African American people, but there's also a lot of Hispanic people too. You know, so I just was lucky to live in an area where, you know, we were below the poverty line, but it still was a good soundboard, and it really humbled me and taught me a lot as a kid because both my parents are educators. My mom's a teacher and my dad's a teacher too. So it just really helped me out later in my career when I was teaching soldiers and civilians how to fly drones, civilian contractor in Fort Worth, Arizona. But my parents were teachers, so it's, you know, they didn't make a lot of money in Oklahoma. They don't pay a lot. So we lived in you know, not so great area, but you know, that's what molded me into the person I am today. You know, I love the fact that I'm from Del City, Oklahoma.
Okay, and well said. And so you said that so it was you did have, because you know Chicago is very segregated.
Yeah.
And I know Oklahoma is not known as being one of the richest states in America. But Tori's mom is a life administrator, educator, so you guys have something in common there. So what were the interactions like? So it sounds like you guys were interacting with, you know, other. Oh, I thought I hit my camera. Sorry about that. But I thought you guys were interacting with other, you know, people from different cultures, huh?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, most of my friends growing up were African American, you know, but in high school, you know, I graduated in '02, and it wasn't really segregated. It was more integrated. Like the people that weren't fitting in were just the nerds. I mean, everybody who played sports was cool, and if you didn't play sports, you weren't cool, you know. But it's like that everywhere when in '02, I think, you know. But in Del City, when Tupac and Biggie died, like everybody cried together and everybody was upset, you know. But it's just it's different because hip hop was big in my life, and hip hop and rap is big in my life, you know. But that's why I loved your guys' show. I found, like I said to you, I found you guys 6 months ago, but I'm hooked, man. I watch the shorts all the time. You guys talk about stuff that's important, you know, stuff that I was telling you over the phone, like that it's lost in today's education system, and that's why I like your show so much.
Good, well said. Yeah, I mean, I think we might need you to switch your headphones if you can.
Do I
Yeah,
need it yet? I mean, I can speak up too, but
yeah.
It's kind of fading in and out. It's not consistent.
I wonder if it's what could it be?
If those headsets have a mic in it, then I don't.
Yeah, it's a Bluetooth. It's a Bluetooth Bose headset, but I get it all the time when I'm on the phone. But I have another one.
All right. No worries. Take your time, man. Me and Self will give it some hubbub while you're setting that up. Yeah, it's interesting, man. Another child of an educator, huh, Self?
Hey, you know, that's this indoctrination system, and you know, when my mother was fully vested, it was still indoctrination, but you know, the teachers had some leeway to teach what they wanted to teach. You know, they didn't have to just teach to a test. You know, what they're just dumbing us down. So
Yeah. And speaking of dumbing us down, Sharuka came through. Now, Self Love, you know, Sharuka Tori guessed 10, and 10 is correct. I never guessed it. I couldn't figure that out for the life of me. But then after that, he second guessed himself and put 19. But 10 is correct. So because Self's last guess was 19, I'm gonna go with Sharuka. Sharuka has solved today's riddle.
how many animals are going towards the river?
Yeah, it's 10. We'll break it down at the end of the show. But Sharuka, you're right. Maybe we'll have Sharuka break it down. But Self, you figured it out when you said 10. So you have to know why you did that, because you were right.
But I got confused because I saw later on what it said.
Whatever you went through when you came up with 10 was the right. I had to look at that like multiple times Like, how do they keep getting 10?
Yeah,
But
I had it because, and then I thought that reason why I second guessed is because I thought it says every elephant saw 3 monkeys going toward the river.
One rabbit saw 9 elephants. Those elephants aren't going towards the river.
Oh, while going towards the river. Okay, there it is right there.
Yeah. That's what throws everybody off. Those elephants aren't necessarily going towards the river. One rabbit saw 9 elephants while going to the river. So
yeah, that's it. That's all right there.
The rabbit's going to the
right.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and get them back on and see if we got this sound check right. It was sounding good in the pregame.
Great. That's why
battery
it tripped
probably
me
wore out. Did you ask them to unmute? Okay.
There we go. I did it right now.
Yeah. Oh my God, much better.
Is that better? Okay, cool.
Oh.
Yeah, this is the wired one. This one's wired. It's on
Yes.
it's on my desktop.
And
you
the
got the
microphone
mic.
is right by
Yes.
your
Yeah, I got the
mouth.
mic right here. Yeah, I got the mic
Oh
right
my
here. But
God.
these ones from Bose, I just got these, but they do it over phone calls all the time too. People can't hear me. It cuts in and out.
You sound so much better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You sound better than us. All right, so I might have to buy one of those you got right there.
Oh, these
All
are
right.
cheapo Debos, man, but they're working out. Sometimes cheap headphones work better than expensive ones sometimes.
Yep. And they probably just won't last as long, but you're right. All right. So can you provide the Self Love Nation with any sayings or, colloquialisms that maybe your elders or you were hearing in the neighborhood, your community growing up, something that, kind of stuck with you that might have been pushing you as you were serving our country, or at any times, things, to help motivate somebody?
There's a lot of stuff and a lot of different sayings because I was the youngest of 3 boys, so my 3 older brothers. So I have a lot of mentors in life, but my brothers and my family, my father, they taught us, to not see color. They taught us to accept everyone and accept what's going on in your heart first before you, make a. But my dad, he said something, most people, he just says, think before you talk. And that's the hardest thing for me because I think I have the answer for everything because I was a private pilot in 2011 and I've basically been retired since 2012. But, I relax, man. I have a great life, and that's because I was in the military and I was a government contractor. I made a lot of money, but it doesn't matter. Money, more problems. You can have all the money in the world, but that's the only thing in my life. That's the only thing that comes back to you, women and children. And like we talked, I don't have custody of my son, but there's nothing I can do about that. But money always comes back to you. You can give it away and it's going to come back, But my parents, they're LDS, they're Mormon, and they pay tithing, and they've seen when they pay tithing, their lives are better, and I was just raised in a Mormon household, but I was in a rough area, and they gave us a choice when we were 14, and I smoked weed and hung out with, rough people. But now they're all businessmen, not from Del City. Everybody was either in the Army, the Marines, or they're firefighters. Like all my people I graduate with are firefighters, or they're in the Marines, or they joined the Army. Some Navy guys too, but most of us were Army. And it's weird because we're right next to Tinker. In my graduating class, we had like one guy go to the Air Force Reserves. Like a lot of people didn't join the Air Force.
Well, I wasn't. How do I say? Raised a Mormon, but I may have smoked weed, and I definitely read L. Ron Hubbard's Dianetics while smoking.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
Great. It was a great read. Let me tell you that much.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, I'd have loved to hung out with this guy.
Yeah.
But you said think before you speak. That was something that I heard a lot growing up too. And that would stop so much conflict in the communities, in the world, in households. Oh my God, self-love's good at that. He thinks before he speaks, all the time, and I've had some things I'm like, why did I just say that? You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
You got 2 ears and 1 mouth, so it's a philosophy that I've lived by.
It's pretty smart, and I've seen your shows and watched what you guys sent me to prep, and you do a good job of that. Yeah, I mean, you're great. He's the host and you're the co-host, but you're the stuff you say is so wise. That's what I was telling him. I thought you were a lot older than he was. I didn't know y'all grew up together.
It's the beard.
Yeah, I know the
and
beard. I know. I
gray.
get that all the time with the gray in my beard, man. People
I'm,
think I'm old as
I'm
hell.
actually younger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang. Dang.
Yeah. Not by
Yeah.
much though.
No,
But
Yeah, but
very
the
little.
stuff you say, is intelligent and it's witty too, man. It really is funny, man. I mean, your shorts and stuff that when you talk, because you don't see a lot of you in their shorts, but when you watch the live, you contribute so much to the show, man. It's really, you guys have a really good show, man.
hey, we appreciate that. So the next question is on you. But if you had something to say, rap to follow up on what he just said, that's cool too.
Yeah, thank you very much. You know, we are trying to with the best information we can out for like minds, so we can raise the vibration of this place. It's very important. It's very important. Okay. Any interaction with melanated?
No, we asked that. You're on.
Oh my God.
You're on the last one in the first section.
Alrighty.
Should be number 4.
I got you. Who do you credit for helping you to rise above environmental stressors and perceived challenges as a child?
That's something that when you guys gave me the questions, I reread that. I thought about that one really hard, man, because there's been a lot of people in my life that have mentored me and stuff, but my father is the one that is the only one in my corner right now out of all the people that have mentored me in my life. But it's not, it's hard to say that, because if you would ask me this question a year ago, I would have said somebody else, you know, but you take advantage, you take value in life when you try to do something like this, where you ask questions about your past. You really think about who was it. And there's a lot of people in my life. I mean, platoon sergeants, a lot of stuff, military men, but my father taught me work ethic. And if you have a good work ethic, you can accomplish anything in the United States.
Man, big ups to your dad, man. You know, big ups to him. Those are words to live by. Okay. All right. So we're going to jump to the platform questions. It's only 3. I'll ask you the first 2. Self's got the last one, and then we can get to why you're here. But this stuff is important, you know, because, you know, like I said, when we were talking 200 years from now, anyone can be looking at this and just, you know, getting perspective. So our More Growth and Development platform, it's geared towards, you know, helping descendants of slavery. You know, you and I talked, Matt, and, you know, we both agreed that every black man wasn't enslaved. I meant to tell you that, Self. I was like, Tori is big on, I was like, Tori would have went crazy if he'd heard you say that. That's what he's been talking about. But, so my question is, if you had to choose from education, and this doesn't have to have a color on it, choosing from education, spirituality, or financial literacy, if you had to choose between those, which tenet do you subscribe as being the most important for ending poverty, overall poverty?
Well, I believe the spirituality, the spirit one, you know, God. I think whoever you think Heavenly Father is, I think that's the answer to everything. But that's only because I've at this point in my life, you know, I would have said education before because my parents were teachers, but it's about, you know, how your relationship with whoever you think created us, you know, and that topic can go on for days, you know, but once you've done the things I've done and seen carnage and seen death and went to Iraq and Afghanistan and then are 100% rated for PTSD, but you are a drone operator and you get looked at someone like in the Air Force and treated down by the military and the Marines and stuff, but they don't know what tactical drone operators were. You know, I was in Iraq, I was kicking doors down, but I was in the middle of the column, but I had a laptop, a gun, and a knife, and I was in the rooms, you know. But once you see death and you chase religion like I did and hunted it, and they're still there today, that's what people don't get. How we pulled out of Afghanistan, we're still in Iraq. But to fix everything, I'm a big believer in crypto. I think that one day, very soon, Trump or whoever's next is going to give everybody a Bitcoin a day in America. And if you're African American or something, you're going to get more. And if you're Native American, you're going to get more. But it's going to be some sort of cryptocurrency that the Republicans make. And I think everybody in America is going to do that. I mean, the precursor to that was he set the military. He made the Space Force. People don't understand what the Space Force is, but the Space Force is Marines and Air Force guys that go to outer space. And people thought it was a joke, and they made a movie, a show about it. But it's just like the Federation in Star Trek. But one day there will be a global president, and it'll probably be Trump or something, and everyone will get an X amount of cryptocurrency. That's what people don't get. Cryptocurrency is the wave of the future. They're doing it in South America, man. Everybody's gonna get it. But spirituality,
It's funny, spirituality, but it's funny you said crypto because they just they're rolling out that world coin.
Well, they have there's a bunch of different cryptos, and I mine a few, and I know how to write code to basically turn anything in your house that produces video mining crypto. But I tell everybody to put their money in Bitcoin and just let it sit, because people don't understand is when the South American countries adopted it as a currency and it went onto your Cash App, it changed the world. Because then you can easily transfer it and change it to USD and do whatever you need to. But in South America, Bitcoin is used as cash, as currency. So that means their currency is the richest currency, because one whole Bitcoin is 25 to 27,000. But there's other coins that are born too.
So are you in alignment with the world government? With one leader?
Think I'm not in alignment with who I think it's going to be, which Donald Trump's going to be there, and then Putin's going to do something stupid to get killed, and then Trump's going to be in charge of everything that was communist. And because you got to understand what we're doing in Taiwan. I mean, Taiwan is shooting down Chinese and stuff satellites on that side of the globe.
You got Taiwan and China, and you got Ukraine and Russia.
I know, but people don't understand that the Earth is the center of the universe, and Oklahoma is the center of the universe because it's the center of the best country. But
I've been saying Earth is the center of the universe.
Yeah, but what I believe is we only know what the ISS has seen. So the sun has melted the ice caps back so far that when Johnny Depp was doing his pirate days, America's wasn't there. It was covered in ice. I mean, there's descendants in America and stuff, but it wasn't there. And as the sun moves further back, it's melting that away. But that's just because I believe when the UN map was created, that's what everyone knew. It's an ice wall surrounding everything that you know now. And as the sun moves back, it melts and melts away. And then you have global warming and all this stuff. But China is not underneath of us. China is just this way. And when those people flew around the world, all they did was fly here, fly there, fly there, fly there, fly there. And
so saying that, what do you think?
No one knows, because I'm a pilot. So no one knows that when you get into a small plane, it's just the horizon. Well, I think outer space is a figment of our imagination. I think whatever you see in the stars is what you believe. I know people that have mental disabilities and stuff that see ghosts and stuff, which means ghosts are real. Because if a person imagines it, which then it starts to get spooky though, because then everything that's ever been created in movies is either gonna happen or is happening right now. We just don't know about it.
Yeah,
like
because we can create it with our thought.
Well, not just that, not just created with your thought. Like this Elon Musk chip that people aren't following. Okay, so people with Alzheimer's, what he did is he took apes and he stuck this chip in their brain, and he figured out how to get a chip in someone's brain to show a video. And he did it to cure Alzheimer's. So it could put a pulse in there, and it can rewire your brain, because that's what they talk in the VA all the time. All these classes I took, it's about rewiring your brain to not be a drug addict or an alcoholic, because you have to wake up every day and rewire your brain.
I tell people that there are a lot of people that they are put into institutions that have extra perception that we don't. Our brains and normally are only tied into certain frequencies, and we can only see certain bands of frequencies, and it's so much more outside of that. But if the people that's walking around talking to you think they talking to themselves, they're actually I believe that they're talking to someone. I know actually they have somebody there. It's something there that they can perceive that we can't perceive.
Well, I had when I was a child, I had imaginary friends all the time, but I didn't understand that was just my schizophrenia as a child. And then I got I had problems and stuff where I ran away, and then my family didn't know what to do with me. And I was in a mental hospital. I was labeled bipolar, and then I joined the army and got PTSD. But PTSD didn't exist when I was in high school.
Right.
So I had a traumatic event happen to me that shocked my brain. But I also saw Bible pages moving in a closed room because I was Mormon, and I believe in a modern day prophet. I don't think I'm a modern day prophet, but I believe that Joseph Smith really did find some gold plates, and he translated with the help of an angel. Like, that's what I believe because I'm baptized in that religion, but I'm also Muslim. So then we got to go to a different, but that when you do that, because I'm a white guy, it's that talk all the time. Like, oh, you eat pork. Oh, you do this. Oh, you didn't know. Every day, if I'm home, I pray to the east. And that's
Well,
it,
let
bro.
me say this. A lot of people when they're in theta have imaginary friends. I don't have any recollection of personally having, an imaginary friend, but they say that's pretty normal in child development. But I wanted to ask you guys both, did y'all hear in Siberia, you were talking about the polar caps. They found these a roundworm. They found a roundworm.
Oh, you can't
that
believe
was,
none of that stuff,
it
bro.
was
Can't believe none of that stuff.
well,
bro.
they said they found it and it was laying dormant for 60,000 years.
No,
And they brought it back to life, and it had
no,
babies.
no, they don't. No one reanimates nothing. I believe that the clone system works, but I also believe Joe Biden is a clone. So, I believe that when JFK died, they cloned certain Democrats because Democrats run the Hollywood and stuff. And I believe, we'll get into it later, but I believe we didn't go to the moon because Buzz Aldrin is telling people on TikTok that we didn't go. You know what I mean? So what the hell, bro?
They're saying Jamie Foxx is a clone. But
Jamie Foxx did. I mean, but do you know why they say he's a clone? They say he's a clone because he didn't accept money to do a movie, and then they cloned him. They beat him up, cloned him, but he's the same person. But clones are real. They clone sheep and stuff, and they clone ears and
they've been cloning humans since the 40s.
Exactly,
1940s.
Exactly. And I have a secret clearance, but I know what the government does, and it's some shady ass shit sometimes.
All right. Well, let me ask you this. We got two more questions on this, and then we can get into.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's all good. This is great talk, man.
This is.
How can, in your mind, I had a teacher used to tell me, opinions are like bums, bum holes. We all have them, and they all stink. However, I'm asking you to build on your wisdom, and your knowledge and understanding from, your experiences and what you've studied. How can America, the United States of America, this republic, how can it best evolve past the sting or the stench of racism, bro?
Oh, I don't think the history of America, you're never going to get past it. I mean, you go back to where they started allowing religion to happen and stuff, but Native Americans got it first, and then, but you don't. I mean, I believe what your co-host believes. I believe that I believe Pocahontas was African American. Because there was, African slave traders that brought people from Africa, but Native Americans were black before slaves showed up. I think Pocahontas was African American. I think Disney brainwashed everybody to believe that as a Native American person, but I believe that everything that the Native Americans ever done were done by African American Native Americans. But that's just my thoughts on that topic, though. But racism is fucked. Racism is fucked from the get. America's just racist. But if you go to a Middle Eastern country that's Muslim, you're welcome in because you speak English and they think you're affluent and you have money. But if you have a little bit of American money, you can live in Egypt for like $400, bro.
Yeah. Interesting take. We have H. Moultrie in the chat. Big ups, H. Moultrie. I'm not going to say, he's a Republican. He's definitely conservative, in my opinion. He said Democrats. I heard that, sir. So
yeah, that's yeah.
Well, Democrats and Republicans.
Yeah,
that's how I feel about them.
Exactly.
Both.
I mean, I've been a libertarian my whole life because when I was growing up, when you registered to vote, you had to put somebody through, through jury duty. And my brother, he got in trouble with the law. And
hold it there.
Yeah, I didn't ever want to do that.
I told Tori that's where we're missing out. on that jury duty. But
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
yes, it's important, man.
It's important.
Self Love, you got a question, and if you had any comments before you go into your,
Can you speak on reparations?
we're talking
Yeah,
reparations for foundationally Black Americans, to be clear.
Yeah, I understand. But I know so many, because I'm in Oklahoma, so it's a little different. But the casinos here, I know so many African Native Americans that get COVID reparations through their Native American tribe. Like, people don't understand that Native American tribes are giving reparations for COVID still. They're getting, some tribes are giving like $800 to $2,000 out. You know, I'm not anything Native, but I thought I was a little bit Cherokee for a little bit, but I'm nothing. But my grandpa looks kind of Native, but you know, my brother looks mulatto and had a jerry curl, but that doesn't matter. You know,
we did a whole show on jerry curls. Go ahead.
Yeah, jerry curls are cool, but he would just get a perm. You know, he had long hair, so he would just get a perm when my aunts were doing perms. You know, but my brother, you know, taught me everything I know. You know, I looked up to him, and I still do to this day. But we don't even speak right now. We haven't spoken 3 years, but he's still, if he said something, I would go do it with my eyes closed, because
Absolutely.
I went to war, but I went to war for my brother before I joined the army, because he protected me as a kid, you know, but he was just the older brother, you know.
Absolutely.
But I think you just got to just look back at the educational of it. You can't look at someone because of their color of their skin and say, I don't want to talk to them or do business. But reparations are important for everyone. If you can trace your lineage back to a slave person, then you should get money, and you should get it right now, because Trump's not going to do that. You know, whoever Republican gets in and say, they're not going to do that, bro. You know, they're not. And no one will. And then it's another 4 years of bullshit. And we're getting a Republican next, because everyone's tired about how Biden pulled out of Afghanistan and what Biden's doing, because he's not holding up to his end of the bargain. You know, he was supposed to legalize weed everywhere, and he didn't do that. That's the thing I'm mad about. But
he can't even walk upstairs on the.
I know, bro. But the guy, you got to understand that I think he's a clone. So I analyze his speeches and stuff. And when he stutters and stuff, that's the clone, man, because he doesn't have Kamala Harris behind him with a god darn stick, like hitting him in the back saying stop stuttering, or they don't switch out the real Biden for the clone, you know. But that's just I can go off on tangents about Biden all day, because let's go Brandon, you know. But I'm not a Trumper. I think Trump's a moron too. But Trump told Oprah he was going to be president, and then the Simpsons made a Simpsons thing about him. But he manifested his own destiny. But I know a bunch of rich white kids that have done that. They put all those people
in place. They put them all in place, and
yeah,
they do
exactly.
know,
yeah.
You know, so
yeah, I believe the president is picked like years before we even go. Yeah, he's selected, but
we don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Vote.
Exactly.
He's not elected.
Exactly,
he's
bro.
Selected.
Yeah, exactly, bro. I think that voting is just something we do to bring the country together, but it tears the country apart.
You know what it's like? It's like when you're going to a wedding, and you know, and you know, you have to choose between the beef and the chicken and the fish plate. That's what they do. They sit down to, you know, this is your choices, and you decide. Meantime, they're making money. They're making money on anything you select. They're making money.
Yeah, I know. But being a libertarian, I'm like the drunk uncle at the wedding. Like, I'm the black sheep of my big family. You know, it's a huge family, but I'm like that drunk because I'm a libertarian, and I've been since I was a kid, man.
Well, H. Moultrie
of choice.
H. Moultrie, the conservative, he just texted me. He said, this guy is great. He actually had a jerry curl too. But you guys, he did. In a Michael Jackson jacket with the buttons. But you guys, Matt, I'm going to stop your camera and mute you. You got 6 minutes.
Sounds good.
Stretch your
I'm going to
legs
take a break. Thanks, sir.
Yeah.
Y'all know how it go. It's about that time, about halftime, but I'm gonna take this slight minute to break down the science of self. The science of self is we are all part of each other. We are one being with the illusion of separation. That being said, we are all cells of the creator. Just like our cells are made up of a trillion sentient beings, we are the sentient beings, the cells of God. So y'all know what it is. We talked about his early life, and we're gonna get into his career, and we're gonna break it down. We're gonna find out what Matt really knows and what he did, and he's going to expand the Self Love Nation. So we got some very important videos that we would love for you to check out, and then we'll be right on back. So chill for a minute, and then you'll hear some great information.
Yeah, I had to stop sharing. My bad, bro.
You ain't have to. I can do it.
Oh, brother.
I'm wiping it though. I'm gonna wipe it. I'm gonna wipe it. I'm gonna say, hey.
Tori's oldest brother. Between us, Tori made me at Beta, and so he just wanted to say a few words before we let you go here.
Okay. Yeah,
Brother Thomas, thank you so much for gracing us with your appearance, man. Grateful. You expanded our nation beyond belief. It's just a wonderful thing. And we would like to present you with the Self Love Show first annual Ernest Lee Thomas Achievement Award.
Oh man,
it's apropos that you are the first recipient.
And Nope, we call it the Raj.
We're gonna call it the Raj.
Oh, I love it. Oh man.
Yeah, so we have it on order. So it's gonna come here. We're gonna show it to the show, and then myself or Tasia deliver it to you or ship it to you from there.
Thank you, brother.
And we ain't always been a problem to you niggas. You see what I'm saying? Who was the problem before we had all these guns and shit?
The police?
Who else?
The judges?
Who else?
The DAs?
Exactly. We was never the real problem. Who the f gave all these guns to the U.S.?
The mother feds.
Why the fuck they putting them all in the black community?
Go out. Trump said go out. Trump said he sent the feds in.
I'm just saying, why the fuck you won't catch no white kids with no guns? Like I said, we was never the real problem. You see what I'm saying? We just made each other problems. I swear to God. You see what I'm saying? But if everybody opened their eyes and everybody was smart, like they say they is, nigga, you can get on that song and talk that shit. Trying to put some effort into making things better, nigga. Like real shit. Like all these rappers and all these niggas, like they wanna go to the club, throw 10, 50 down. Do something else with that shit. You see what I'm saying? Help poor people.
Because we don't want to hear what they have to say. We're like, no, we want what we want when we want it right now. But see, sometimes that right now is not the right time. And we can't see that with our natural eye. We don't understand that if we just hold off just a little longer, it will be more beneficial, more fruitful, more productive down the road when we're actually ready for it. Because there are some things that we pray for and we're not ready to be responsible for that very thing. And maybe I wasn't ready to be responsible and go out and speak back in the day with my book. Someone very close to me that I love dearly said to me, I said, you proud of me? They were like, proud of what? What am I proud of? When the book came out, because you could have been saving or helping people a long time ago if you hadn't procrastinated. So a part of me was like, wow, they're right. But then a part of me was pretty much the way you said earlier. Hey, look, the time is when the time was.
Off season specifically, what did you work on to try to fix those things you want to get better?
I worked on a lot of things, the stuff that I need to work on. So, yeah.
You watched the quarterback show on Netflix?
I did.
What'd you think of it? And then obviously you were part of that a show like that when you were in high school. If they were to come to you and ask you to do it as a pro, would you be open to it?
Yeah, I watched it. It was kind of cool, seeing everybody's different backgrounds and kind of see how they prepared. So, just.
DJ, in the summer, or I guess in the off-season portion, do you do any specific speed training or anything, outside of just working with the quarterback?
No, I'm just relaxing, being a dad. When he called, I come. Whenever Justin called, I went. And other than that, I was with my kids and my fiance. How do I like to relax? Just watching movies and eating popcorn, being a regular person. There ain't really nothing to it outside of football with me.
Mariah Carey just had this big $20 million. Like, that's like a huge deal, right?
So you feeling that? If
Okay.
you signed me to a record deal, how much would you give me? The album sells for $18. How much of that would you give me? Well, half. Check this out. If I sell 1 million copies, I'm gonna have $10 million. If I sell 2 million, I got $20 million. If I just sell 3 million copies, I got $30 million. So Mariah kind of got screwed. I was recording the albums myself in my own studio. The way I looked at it, I owned the work because I paid for it. And I did all the work, I created it, so I felt like it should belong to me. And they would always hold this contract up and say, well, you signed it. We're talking about intellectual copyright. If they're gonna be indeed a delivery service, then that's fine. But even FedEx doesn't say that they own the thing that they ship. What I've been doing recently is studying the scriptures. That's what gives me the optimism. And I would advise anybody, if you wanna feel like there's some hope in this joint, I mean, pick up the book.
Man, I thank you guys for inviting me on. Thank you. Great format, very solid. You know, it don't have that low budget movie feel. You know what I'm saying? And we get that a lot in the Black community, for real.
Yeah.
Like people look at us to be fuck ups. They look at us to be low budget. They look at us to be ignorant, stuttering, and use a whole bunch of and all of that. But no, they got the real deal on here. That everybody know who Torian Mills is, baby. They know.
Hey, well, bro.
They so ignorant.
Hey, but this platform's your platform. This platform's my platform. From Inglewood, California to
the
Chicago,
South Shore.
Crazy thing about it.
This platform is
made for you and me.
It's made for you.
The crazy
ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. I was trying to get out the end of the preamble, but go ahead, bro.
Self Love Show. It's the Self Love Show. To expose they don't equal. The Self Love Show. The Self Love Show. The Self Love Show. We Wordsmith 9 Mills.
Yes, sir.
The Self Love Show. You know how the story goes.
And we're back. Y'all know how the game go. We're on here with Matt Stuttered, drone specialist. And we are really finna get into the nitty gritty about the technology and everything around drones. It's a blessing. I've been looking forward to this ever since we got Mac to commit and come on, and it is a blessing.
Yeah, man, this is almost like being at a white frat house in college, sitting around talking shit. You know what I'm saying? This is great. This is great. And today's show is sponsored in part by CW Consulting, where they help people license their companies and keep track of licensing. Also, they help them with the tax code in the state of Oklahoma. And they are helping folks to who are unfortunate or disabled get their SSDI. And he helps our veterans get their disability. That's Matt Stoddard in the building. So, yeah, we're definitely going to get into, as Self Love just said, we're going to start talking drones and his professional career. This conversation has already been enlightening on so many different levels. Yeah, I mean, this guy's right up your alley, Self Love.
You're working right with me out there.
Yeah. All right, so Matt, thanks for doing this once again, and thanks for your service. What we're going to do is get into your professional campaign, so to speak. So when and why, and this is very important, the when and the why. When and why did you decide to join the military and serve your nation? It was a decision that faced me, and, you know, I just couldn't do it. And I have no fear in my heart. You know what I'm saying? I have no fear in my heart, you know. But I just want to hear from you. When and why did you make this decision?
Well, like we kind of discussed earlier, my older brother, whatever, that protected me, it's kind of a weird story, but he was at Fort Sill in Lawton, and he did some he did his federal time there, and he was in basic training, and it humbled my brother, and that's why I decided to join the Army. But the Army, I scored really high in the ASVAB, so that's the first place I went to, and the recruiter helped me. I was smoking weed at the time, so he helped me pass the piss test, and then he got me in, because back in that day, they were taking in anybody that would walk, back in
How did he
2000.
help you? Did he give you golden seal or what? Did he
Yeah,
do?
he gave me
Baby?
exactly.
Did
Yeah,
he give you baby milk?
he gave me the stuff you drink, and then you drink a bunch of water, and then you take the
Bro, it
piss
never
test.
worked for me. Everybody
Oh,
else says
really?
it worked. I've lost so many job opportunities doing that.
Well,
It just,
I think that it didn't matter, because he saw how high I scored in the ASVAB. It didn't matter if I was pissing,
correct.
whatever, it didn't matter.
Let's get him in. We'll get him off the weed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Let's get him off whatever he's out, because he's so wicked smart. I scored 2 points higher than the max, so I will get in this later, but I was the third class to go through, but I was a drone operator. I was a 96 uniform, then a 13 whiskey, which it was MI when I was first in. And then later on down the road, went to aviation, and it was a 13 series. And then, I did 7 years in the Army, went to Iraq twice, and then I was a government contractor for 6 years. But my government contractor career, I trained everybody, bro. I mean, I worked with the Marines, the civilians, and you didn't know what agency they were. They were just civilian guys in your class, and you taught them like you would teach a soldier, and that was at Fort Huachuca. And then, you get to know some of them. They're like, hey, I'm really in this agency. And you're like, whoa, what are you doing in my class, bro? You know what I mean?
What do you remember, like how old you were when you said, man, I'm
Well, I did
to the
it
military?
because both my parents were educators, and I wanted to pay for my own college. But here I am at 40, and my GI Bill's run out, and I never used it, because I was a private pilot, and I was a government contractor. So I chased the money. So when I got out of the Army, I was in Hawaii, and then I went to Florida. So I moved from Hawaii to Florida, and then I got a job in Sierra Vista, Arizona, teaching civilian, teaching the Army and the military how to fly. But within those classes, there was the Border Patrol, there was everything else, So
you were
and then
chasing the opportunity and then a chance
the money,
to,
man. I didn't go to college because I was in the Army and didn't need to go to college, and I had a technical job that rolled over into a good career. But I stopped that in 2012, and I've only worked 1 year since then, because I made so much money, and I invested in crypto young,
Nice.
Yeah. And Joey White is in the chat. He said he had a perm, so I guess he didn't have
Yeah, I
curls.
saw that too.
And I said he had some bucks too. That's some shoes. Growth and Development used to wear around the city of Chicago, and pick up some Growth and Development. I don't need no problems.
But people don't know that that's how men did it back in the day. That's how jerry curls were made. They just put a lot of activator in it. That Soul Glow shit was real, bro.
All right, Self Love.
Your skin is porous. So I just want all the people to know that they had.
No, I know. Yeah, sometimes if you see, I'm like the whitest black guy you'll ever meet, but that doesn't matter.
For sure. Hey, so military recruitment is down. Why do you think that is?
Sorry, I was eating something. Let me get a drink. I think it's down because I think it's down right now, simply put, because of how Biden's dumbass pulled out of Afghanistan. He basically couldn't, and I read this in nauseam because I was a civilian contractor there, so it meant something to me. I was in Afghanistan, so the way he pulled out, he couldn't fit with the Taliban's timetable that Trump set up, because Trump was so confident he was going to win. He said, hey, we're going to pull it on this date. But Trump did that just in case he lost, so Biden would look like an idiot. What people don't understand is the National Guard and the Army is still in Baghdad and in Iraq. I have friends that are government contractors in Iraq. Like, people don't get that.
We never leave.
We never left, but
get beat boots on the ground everywhere.
Exactly, we don't leave.
Boots on the ground. We never
exactly.
Leave. Well, not
exactly,
we,
but
the government never leaves.
The way that Biden did it, because he wanted to end that war, he made it look like he ended both wars. But we're still in Iraq, so it's like Korea now. You know what I'm saying? And people don't get that shit. People don't understand that weren't in the military. Our war will never end because we fought a religion. That's what people don't get. We didn't fight a people. We liberated the poor people in Iraq, and I was there during the elections because we hung Saddam Hussein, who's a rich Muslim. Because in my eyes, there's 3 different types of Muslims, and I'm not trying to be racist or anything, but there's Muslims who are African American, and then there's poor Muslims and rich Muslims. Within the Muslims, there's different stuff too. But all my friends that are African American that are Muslim, they it's a hard time communicating with them because they are so smart and they're so militant. Muslims are just subservient to their wives. So we're strong, tough men, but we cherish children and women, but every woman I meet in my life, because I'm single and I've been single since 2012 and I'm rich, I try to wife up, I just do. I don't know why, I just do that. But I don't have to get into that, but I just go to strip clubs a lot. And I got like 39 stripper girlfriends, but we don't have to get into that.
Yeah, we're still live here, but big ups.
Yeah, my bad. We got to keep it PG. You don't want me to
I
bring.
mean, hey, do you? But
you don't want me to bring the lingerie girls out right now, do you?
Yes, yes, line them up.
I'm joking, bro, but that's a big part of my life because I love music, and the Oklahoma City rap scene is huge right now.
Oh,
I mean, there's a few bars in Midwest City, but these guys go to these strip clubs and they perform, or their music's in these strip clubs. And there's a town called Valley Brook that's south of Oklahoma City, and it's zoned for entertainment, but it's just a small strip with about 50 cops and 4 or 5 strip clubs.
Wow.
It's right next to where I grew up in Del City. So when we lived in Del City, we just moved to this house a year and a half ago. When we lived in Del City, I would go to Valley Brook all the time because I love women. I just love women.
all right, Tori's got to get in there at some point.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, we can.
There's nothing
I
wrong
just
with
don't want
loving
to talk.
women.
I could talk the whole hour, but let's get back to drones because I could talk to women. I could talk about women forever.
Yeah. When did you decide to become a drone operator?
Well, that was kind of picked for me a little bit because I scored so high on the ASVAB when I went to the MEPS, where you pick your job for any branch of the service. So in Oklahoma City, you in process and you hold your right hand up and then you go. But before you do that, you go and talk to a job specialist. And it's kind of like I try to explain it to people. It's kind of like when you buy a car and you talk to the finance guy, so you do all your paperwork, but you talk to the job specialist and he's the guy that looks at your stuff and says, okay, you have this score of an ASVAB, you can be X, Y, or Z. And I knew how. I used to buy cars and stuff when I was a young kid, but I knew how to haggle.
Yeah.
So what I did was I walked in there and I bought the house, but I kept the person or whatever, like they talked about in Django. So what I did is I walked in there and I said, I want to do something like James Bond, but with females in the MOS. And they said, well, we just got this new drone stuff and you'll be the third class to go through. And there was a girl in my platoon and I dated her the whole time I was in Iraq. But I didn't want to be a nurse or a medic and have to see blood and all this stuff because Iraq and Afghanistan was there. But that's why I became a drone operator. It was given to me. You know what I'm saying? I just scored so high on the ASVAB that they said, this is what you can do. But I didn't even look at my options. That's what I picked. I didn't ask him anything else because I've always wanted to be a pilot. So
Matt, you would have loved college. You'd have.
Oh my God, U of I specifically.
When I was in high school, my brother was going to OU, so I used to go to OU all the time. And OU's a party town, but it's not really. It's about, they're more about, I mean, you don't mess with OU football, man.
If you like girls,
crimson and cream, you don't mess with OU football, bro.
My attendance was always higher in the classes that had the prettiest girls, but
yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Go ahead. So
what's a drone operator's training look like? Certifications, qualifications?
So basically what happens when you're in the military is you go through a school, but it's done just like if you were to get your man pilot's license. So if you get your man's pilot license, you take a ground school and then you take a simulator portion and then you take a flight portion and then you're qualified to fly a plane. So they adopted that type of school. And there's 2 different ways to get your private pilot's license. You either do it in a classroom setting or you do it individually, because that's how I did mine. And when you do it individually, you can go as fast as your money's there. And I had I had a credit card with a $50,000 limit, so I was flying every day. But it was because I accelerated because I had 90 days to get my private pilot's instrument rating and 100 hours by myself.
So you have to,
but the military
have
side
a
is
pilot's license to be able to operate.
No, not at all. No, not in the Army, not in the Marines, not in the Navy. But Navy doesn't have a lot of drone operations because it's all civilian. It's all civilian ran. But in the Marines, they fly shadow and you go through shadow. And then once you go through the shadow courts at Fort Huachuca, where MI and aviation and not aviation, but MI and signals at, once you go through the shadow course, then they place you in the next course. So
Mm.
then you get into the Gray Eagle course, which is the Army version of the Predator. But that just started back in like 2010. But when I was there, I was the third class to go through Shadow, but there was a drone called Hunter. That's the same classification as a Predator, but it's old as hell. But they have the Hunter operators are selected out of the cream of the crop of the Shadow because you land that one with a controller and it's as big as this Predator. So you fly it in like an RC plane and you land this big drone. But it was
So-
awesome when I was going through the schoolhouse.
Okay,
But that was back in
okay.
02.
So Matt, I'm you, and I'm, hey, you guys put me in a program, where there's hot chicks.
Oh gosh.
Right. And so
Yeah.
they put me there. My first day of training looks like what? Am I sitting at a
Okay, so
computer?
you're sitting in a classroom like setting and you're learning the FAA stuff and weather and the stuff that's important about flying. And there's a civilian instructor and you're in a group with your platoon or whatever that's going through AIT and you're taking tests, but the tests are all simple because it's like I tell people it's like kind of getting your CDL. The tests are simple because there's a
Okay.
book with the answers and the questions in the back. And I have a phonetic memory, so I would just remember one word and the question and answer. I would get 100%, and I would do my test in 2 seconds.
So
And
once
the
you
instructor-
passed all of the federal guidelines and
yeah, the federal
oh,
stuff, and then
then
you
what's
go to the
next?
then you go to the simulator room,
Nice.
and a civilian instructor takes two of you, and one person's the air vehicle operator, one person's the payload operator, and you're doing exactly like you do at the flight line, and you do that for a long time, and like for a month and a half.
So
'cause
it
our school-
simulates from a perspective of being in the drone. Well,
No,
the camera
not
view.
at all. No, it's
No?
it's in a classroom, and
Right.
it looks like the inside of the ground control station. But the instructors has a computer, and it's 1 to 2, and he's putting scenarios into the system.
Correct.
And you're exactly, and you're
And
going
you're
through. It's
getting
like
the
you're playing a
camera
video
view.
game. Like you're
You're
playing a
getting
video
the
game.
same camera views that you would get if you were operating an actual zone.
It's simulated, so it's not that good. It's
Okay.
it's really hard to
Okay.
train the payload side in the sim room because any
Okay.
simulator, the payload is never going to be the live action feed. So you're going to get a computer generated feed, so you can't really do any training, but it still operates the same as the camera operates. So like the daytime camera zooms in and zooms out, but the IR camera steps in. There's 4 different zooms, but that's how it is on most drones. But the more sophisticated ones, the sim room is real good, but it's still a computer generated video feed. So you can't do a lot of training on that. And most times when you're in the units and you're down for weather for 3 months, the simulator's just done for the air vehicle operator. You don't even fire up the payload side. The instructor operator in your platoon takes you in there because you're down for weather or you can't fly for whatever reason. And you get in the shelter, and then there's a computer in the back and it runs the simulator, and you have to hook up the cables. You have to loop the cables for the antenna and stuff because there's sim cables. So you have to loop the cables in there, and it's hard to explain, but all your antennas plug into the side of the shelter, but I
Got
was
it.
in a shelter in Iraq, but a lot of drones, the Air Force does
So
it
you
different.
got trained in Iraq.
No, sir. No,
Okay,
sir.
I got you. No, no.
Some
So
some
I'm
people
no,
do go straight from the school with their platoon
right.
to from the schoolhouse to Edwards, where I was at, and trained soldiers as a civilian contractor with Gray Eagle, and then they go
Got you.
straight to Afghanistan.
So
But
after the simulation, where do they
then
take
you go to a
next?
flight. Then next is the flight portion. So you go to the flight line and you learn everything about it. So you take a few days to understand how the engine starts and the safety protocols, because there's a safety officer in the military and in the civilian airports in the States that has a book that's this big, and like you have to do a FOD walk and you have to do all this stuff because it's just like a plane, but it's unmanned. So there's some shit that you throw out the window, but it's still, you still have to make sure, because it's a small, the one I flew was 12 feet by 11 feet, so
So you do it. You have to do the mechanical checklist and stuff. Oh, I think they got us off of there, Self.
it was more of a deterrent
Okay.
because the engine was so loud. It sounded like a lawnmower, but it was more of a deterrent from counter mortar, counter rocket, because you couldn't see a person blow up unless you're zoomed way out and then you zoom in and see them. But counter mortar, counter rocket is what we did in 2007 and 2009 in Iraq because there was nothing to do. Saddam was gone and we were just there babysitting, and my friends died, and all kinds of stuff happened for no reason. I think when we killed Saddam, we should have pulled out of that country, but nobody knows we're in it like Korea. And it upsets me that people say the wars are done because we pulled out of Afghanistan. But I saw people in Iraq, but they just aren't dying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what Tori said. Those wars, we don't leave. So, okay, I got it. But now, are you responsible for the mechanical side? Like, okay, so before an airplane goes up,
it's
they
a little,
do these
it's a little
checks.
different. It's a little different. So, as the instructor operator, you're in charge of taking the aircraft off. So
Gotcha.
you have to make sure that it's prepped and ready to go. But you do a walk around of the aircraft, but you have
Yeah.
a maintainer, which in the
Yeah.
Army, when I was there, were generator mechanics and 33 whiskeys, which are like computer guys that are all my buddies that are 33 whiskeys are in the NS.
Gotcha.
They're all in the NSA, but they work from home and they're in this NSA, but they're my homies, you know. But
Doing the support, they do the
well, no,
technical
they do. Well, what they do everything. They basically write code for the NSA because that's what they
Right.
teach them at 33 Whiskey School. And they have a
Okay.
TS, and I had a secret. But when I became a civilian contractor, my clearance went up a little bit. But they have a TS because they work in the skiff and they work in the secret part of the talks. Because 33 whiskeys are a real technical job. But all my friends, most of my friends that I deployed with on my first deployment are either in the NSA, the CIA, or the FBI. Like they're just, because I was MI, so they're just, and I was right underneath the vision of Fort Hood. So most of my friends are rocket scientists or stuff like that.
So, Matt, how do they say, okay, now he's ready? Is there
There's
aptitude where you have to
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
fly the zone and hit
Oh,
certain
yeah.
targets? So,
Oh, yeah.
or do they
Oh,
just
yeah.
kind of throw you out there and you learn as you go?
Well, so Fort Huachuca is where the Army does most of the stuff at, but and the Marines, when I was there, and let's say I got out of the Army in 09, so I was there for 4 years. So I was there as a civilian contractor for a while, but the Marines started coming there, and then the Navy and the Border Patrol, everybody went through there, and then other agencies went through there, but you didn't know it. But there's a book, there's a regulation, and it's changed throughout the years, and it's different now, I'm sure, but it said pass condition standards, and you had to complete certain tasks for the AVO side, the air vehicle side, and the payload side to become that skill identifier in the Army, that 96 uniform or that 13 whiskey. So you have to complete those tasks, and you have to get a satisfactory. But it's just every flight you get debriefed, and whatever you did unsat, you just tried it again the next time until you did satisfactory. But some people went through in 3 flights, and some people went through in 9 flights because they couldn't comprehend the science behind it.
That's what I was going to ask you. So if 100 soldiers are going through this training, how many of them would you say completed it successfully?
Well, they put through so many now because they were vamping up to get everybody to Afghanistan. But now that Afghanistan's gone, and you were talking about retention earlier. I'll tell you what's happening in every TRADOC post, because I was a civilian contractor in TRADOC post. Every MOS was full. The most important MOSs were full of people, and they ramped up this really big. And then when they pulled everyone out of Afghanistan, there's a vacuum. So recruitment might look down at the numbers, but there's so many people sitting in the States waiting to go do something, or they're doing stuff in the Ukraine now. But there's so many people that the Army moves like the SF moves. That's what people don't understand. In Vietnam and stuff, when you were infantry, you did things that SF did, but it's reversed now. Like the Army normal soldiers are SF because they have so much combat experience.
What's SF?
The special forces and stuff, like Green Berets
okay.
and Rangers and stuff. You don't understand that the people like the Cav Scouts and the infantrymen that I know and that I deployed with, they saw so much carnage and they did so much stuff that they're killing themselves now because they can't live with their PTSD. You know, I'm 100% rated for PTSD, but when people find out I'm a drone operator, they go, "Dude, you were in Nevada the whole time. What the hell?" And then I explained to them that I was on the ground there, and they don't get that. Like nobody respects.
That's what I was about to ask you. So yes, because you taught me a lot. So many drone operators, I'm just telling you what people feel, have been said to work from air-conditioned stateside offices, strip malls.
Yeah.
But can you describe what your typical day or your platoon's typical day would have looked like?
Well, it just depends on if you're talking about CONUS or OCONUS. In the States, I mean, you go flying, but you're a normal soldier, so you do everything that your group does. Because when they went to aviation, they came out of MI, so they were in the platoons embedded into the, like when I was in Hawaii, I was in a CAV squadron in my own MI troop.
MI.
So I was military intelligence, because when I was first in the Army, and when I was the third class to go through, the MOS was 96 uniform, and then as my career progressed, it turned into 13 whiskey and became aviation. And when it became aviation, you were in the company that you deployed with, which worked good and fine and stuff. But I was the first platoon in MMDB North, and I went there 03 to 04, and then I went back 07 to 09. And I went to the same place where I drilled the first holes, but we were the first person to do relief on stations for the Shadow TUS. So the platoon that was there before in Fallujah, they were lazy and they didn't want to fly 24/7. So what we did, because the need and the want for a tactical drone in Baghdad, and it was so busy, is we devised, me and three guys, we devised how to do a relief on station with a bird. But then we were flying 24/7 and our engines were crapping out and the birds were flying out of the sky all the time. But because we did that, when I went back to 07, 09, the Hope and Spug, the methods in the TM that we knew, because we read the TM like it was our Bible and the technical manual, they were implemented in Iraq because of our intuition and our work just to get the just to get the drone in the sky all the time and have that eyes of the commander, But I tell people that don't know about tactical drone operators and think I'm just some pogue or something, or some guy that's staying on the fob all the time, is we were over there. We were over there. We were in Taji's where we took off from, but we augmented to units, and then the unit in Fallujah came back and we got all their equipment, pre-positioned it, and then the forward side people were in Blackhawks going from fob to fob. So we were in the division talk right underneath the command, and we were in the divisions like skiff, but you're in the talk in a stadium, and then you have a general. But then the general would say, okay, we need your forward site to go to Solder City for 2 weeks to support this operation. So then towards the end of my first deployment, the forward side people, those pre-positioned ground control stations, would hop in a Blackhawk and just go all over. I was in the green zone. I was all over. But before we pre-positioned those stations, we had to displace the antenna, put it in a shelter, get in a convoy, and drive. And I drove from Kuwait to Baghdad. And that wasn't a bad drive, but we were not in up armored Humvees, bro. We were in steel stuff and a canvas door. So if they shot at you, you could get shot. But 07, 09, there was so much equipment over there that was heavy and didn't get on the boats and come back. Like, that's why I'm so pissed about how we left Afghanistan, because we left all kinds of equipment and people. Like my government contract and homies and stuff, what they did is they left them over there so they can help the government that was left, but they gave them weapons. But when I was over there as a government contractor in 2011, I had a knife, and that was it. I had a K-bar, and there was shit that go down in the fobs, different parts of the base, and the Army would take 2 hours to secure our area. So you would hear the sirens go off, you would hear shit blowing up, and you were just sitting there with no gun. Like, nobody had a gun. There was no guns, and the Army would have to drive, and it took them an hour to get a mile to the flight line. And that was one of the scariest times of my life as a contractor. But I had
why no guns?
Oh, because contractors that aren't Blackwater, you can only have a knife, because you can't bring your personal firearm. It's like you're getting on. That's why when you said I was a spook, I was just working for a drone company. I wasn't a spook. I wasn't in the FBI, CIA, none of that stuff. But I worked and took over missions from predators, and I was a standardization. I was the regional lead for my company. So there was a bunch of sites that were run by, they were going government-owned contract operated sites where contractors did what the soldiers did, but they got paid a shit ton of money. And I was the guy that came in and cleaned house and told people to leave. But I got so bored with the contractors because they're all full of themselves. I augmented to the Army and I started training the Army. And I did good stuff with the Army, but I was only there for 4 months, man. I came back with 60 grand on my taxes, bought a bunch of Bitcoin, and now I'm living my life,
Well, and Matt, how did your Muslim brothers over there
dude, I don't
perceive you? Did they consider you an infidel or
well,
brother?
most American Muslims are poor Muslims. They're not like Saddam Hussein, rich Muslims who plot on America, you know, and that's what people don't get. That's why I said in my mind, there's 3 different types of Muslims, because Muhammad Ali's type of Muslim and African-American Muslim, I'm not trying to be racist. They believe in a living Allah and a living Jesus Christ. They believe in a prophet.
Yeah.
You know, so
the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Farrakhan.
Exactly. And I've done a lot of research on that and stuff, but then that augments off of what the Quran teaches. But it's still within the guidelines, like it's still okay, but it's just a different line of teaching. But it's not wrong or bad. But my African American Muslim friends and stuff that I hang out with, they don't pray like I pray. They don't.
But I mean, when you were a contractor over there, did you
what
tell
happened
them you
was
were Muslim, and did y'all pray to the east together?
What happened was I was a 50 cal gunner, and I killed a guy with a 50 cal, and then the next day I started going to the mosque and just praying, because I was always religious. But once you hunt a religion and then murder someone, then you take a deeper understanding of that religion. And there's only 3 religions: Christianity, Muslim, Jewish. That's it. Buddhist, everything else is all falls underneath something else. But there's also, I believe I'm pagan too. And
what about Mormonism? Isn't that in?
Well, Mormons are Christians, bro.
Yeah,
everyone's Christians. Mormons are Christians, bro. They believe in God, so they're Christians.
How about Scientology?
Scientology is a form. They believe in aliens that came and taught whatever. But Tom Cruise is a part of that, bro. And Tom Cruise is a fucking whack job.
I mean, in some ways, Christians and Jews and Muslims believe in aliens too. They call
exactly,
them
but they believe
jinn.
in the comprehension of other. They believe in the comprehension of other souls. You know, but they believe
they talk about angels and
fallen angels and the Nephilim, Nephilim, all that stuff. Yeah,
all of them would be considered fall under aliens.
Yeah, I know, but Scientology is just a cult. That's the Hollywood has made into a religion.
In our opinion, you know,
I'm not a member. I'm not a member. I ain't been.
No, me neither. But the last thing I need
to go. But
in my opinion, they're all occults.
I live less than 3 blocks from a Scientology temple. That's the last thing I need is them following me around. Hey, but
what are they strange people? Are they nosy? Do they look at you twice or what? I've never met a Scientologist.
Nah, I mean, no, they just keep to themselves. I don't see them doing much in the community.
Is the architecture good, or is it Masonic? Does the building look nice?
It doesn't look Masonic.
A couple of classes of Scientology.
Oh, really? That's cool.
But the temples don't look Gothic or
No, regular.
They just look like a Baptist
regular
church.
buildings.
They just look like a Baptist church.
Like regular buildings. It'll look like a big bookstore.
L. Ron Hubbard was actually great friends with with the I can't think of his name right now, but
he was a Hollywood writer, wasn't he? L. Ron.
Well, he wrote
some scripts,
1,000 books, and a lot of them were
that math ain't mathing. I'm a writer myself. When you start telling me somebody wrote 1,000 books,
well, I mean, I don't know. He's credited with writing them.
Yeah, I know, but the math ain't mathing.
And you two are wicked smart, bro. You guys read and stuff. I just read the back of my book and read reports on. I never read a book in my life, and I don't take time to read, bro.
Yeah,
let me ask you this.
That guy was science fiction writer.
Yeah,
well before Scientology.
I like science fiction.
He also knew that if you make a religion, that you could do a whole bunch of stuff tax free, and
that's why I don't like it. That's why I don't like it. Yeah.
All right, well, let's
hung out with the dude that called himself the devil, that wrote the Satan Bible, the reverse Bible, whatever it is.
All right, we'll come back. We'll come back to Scientology. I mean, we can go down this rabbit hole for another 20.
Yeah, I
minutes.
will too. So
All right, so you operated a Predator drone. I know you said that was the main technology you used, and I was discussing with you. I had no idea these things were this big, and you said there are some even larger. But can you kind of discuss how drone technology is being used? And I don't want you to get into anything that's classified, but just something, the applications that we're using them for.
So when you think about drones, you just got to think about an airplane. So it's just the propulsion system of that airplane. So drones have gotten so sophisticated that most all rockets are drones. Like people don't understand that. It's just the propulsion system behind the aircraft or in front of the aircraft or whatever. And like the Predator is so well known because of the movies and stuff. But the Gray Eagle, when I was a civilian contractor, I helped write the Dash 10. So I worked at a disclosed location in California, and I worked at Edwards Air Force Base. But at Edwards, I've seen things that I can't communicate because of my clearance, but I've seen drones that are so big.
Were you
And I've
in
been-
El Segundo? You can't say, but I
No,
see a
my
lot of
son
weird
was my
stuff
son was
going-
born in Apple Valley, and I lived in a town called Silver Lakes at a golf course and a lake.
Okay, yeah,
And I
Silver Lake's
lived there,
beautiful.
and then I lived there, and then my son was born in Apple Valley. But it was a hard time of my life, man, because I had a kid, but I was making a shit ton of money. But I've learned in my life that it doesn't matter how big of your paycheck comes in, you're still gonna have problems. And my baby's mom is a great woman. She's a good mom, but she doesn't let me see my damn kids. So she's not that cool of a person, you know, but we don't need to get through that. But so just the propulsion system behind it. And when I worked at the disclosed location, I can tell you they were working on jet propeller Predators, you know, and that was 2012. So 2014, you know, somewhere 2012, 2014. But most of my career, my stuff was on the Shadow TUS because that's what I did in the Army. So that's what I taught at Fort Huachuca. And then I was telling you about this position I had where I was the instructor operator course instructor, and only a handful of people in the world have done that. And every person that does drones with the military has to go through that instructor operator course to have the certification as civilians. So if you're flying a Predator drone as a civilian, and it was with an Army contract. That's all I really know because I was in the Army. You had to go through this course that I taught because we taught senior military personnel to be instructor operators and certified them. And then we taught civilian. We had civilian classes too. And within that was the Border Patrol, the FBI, the CIA. We didn't know. We couldn't ask. So there's 7 people that went in back in the day before I went to the Gray Eagle back in 2012 or so. I taught a course, and I only taught it for a little bit because I like this. I'm nervous as hell. Like I'm scared of public speaking because there's a record of this forever. And if I talk forever, if I talk about like go off on tangents, you know, I just want to talk about all this drone stuff. But the propulsion is is the question. So the quadcopters you see that you buy at Best Buy, you just have to be careful because if you buy a DJI product, it touches China's mainframe. And I had a drone company and we had drones from Canada because we did critical infrastructure inspection. And I didn't purchase the drones. I just came in after the guy that embezzled a bunch of money. But I had 3% equity, and when we sold it, I made a shit ton of money. And that was 2015. But I had a drone. I came back to Oklahoma City from Minnesota, and I was going to college. I was going to go to college with the GI Bill, but I came back because this Marine guy had this drone company that he didn't have an operator for. And this guy from Canada trained me on it. And then I flew it for the oil field. And the guy from Canada trained me on it, said, I don't understand how you can just take this tablet and do so good. I said it because I flew drones in the military and I flew the Army's version of Predator. This is a quadcopter flown by a
what
tablet.
size was the Predator?
Predators are almost the size of an actual aircraft.
Right.
Like they're so big, they're so big, and you have to understand the weight of the aircraft. So when Obama was the president, when I did all the research and had my license to fly quadcopters in the US, because what they were trying to do is they were trying to get the weight poundage up and up and up so they can get the drones that'll drop packages for Amazon. Because I have a buddy that was a contractor too, and he's the lead drone operator for Amazon, but they don't have a US program, but they have stuff in Europe with quadcopters there, because in Europe you can do whatever you want. You know, they have helicopter-sized drones in Europe, but in the U.S., Obama started it right, and then Trump fucked it up. But Obama's plan was to up the poundage until it gets to the size and the weight of a Predator, so civilians can utilize them for stuff like the police force and things like that. Because something that I want to do so bad to help the firefighters, not the police, because I mean I'm NWA all the way, fuck the police, but I think that there should be a Scan Eagle drone, this Navy drone that's flown on these Navy ships with a lot of hours. It's in Sintu. It's a company that's in the Gorge Valley, and I interviewed with them, but I didn't take the position. But it's a Scan Eagle drone, and it's small and it's within the weight. They can even scale it down within the weight to fly within the FAA's regulations right now, and they can have a pole on the top of every fire department. And then what that drone could do is do what does in Oklahoma City, because people don't understand that. But in Oklahoma City, they got tinkers, so they have predators and stuff flying all the time, but there's on the highways, there's no speed check by aircraft like in California and bigger places, because they have the Predator drone. So and the FBI is so good because of what Timothy McVeigh did. So the FBI is like the gosh darn, craziest, smartest people in the world because of the bombing. And those guys utilize the drone technology and do stuff. And that's why
Right. But how can the fire departments use it? You said the pipe is
so the
going to
well, no, just put them on every firefighter, high school, everything, bro. And you could just stop, you could stop a lot of stuff, but I want to do it to help write speeding tickets in Oklahoma, but just because the airspace is so easy to fly. But start with that and then do it everywhere, because I love Arizona, but in Arizona and Phoenix and stuff, they privatized the fire department.
Well, I got a question.
Yeah.
I got a question.
Go ahead. Good. I'm sorry. I'm talking about a lot of
No
stuff.
worries. So, and I'm just asking, I'm not saying this happened or anything like that, but did the technology exist on 9/11, 2001? Did the technology exist then? Do you think where someone could have flown drones into the buildings? In other words, controlled those jets by drones.
No, I firmly believe that there was technology, because I've flown drones and understand how Predator technology works, where they fly it from Nellis Air Force Base, but they have to launch it. But once it gets to a certain altitude, it's switched to a satellite antenna, and then those guys in the Air Force are officers in the Army are flying, and enlisted guys are operating the camera. But these officers in Nellis would switch missions off with us, and they'd say, we're going to the strip when we're in Iraq in the heat. It pissed me off, but it switches to a antenna in the nose that works through the satellite. And there is hacker technology, and the hacker technology existed, but it was a plane. People saw the plane. There was people on the manifest, and there was the black tape stuff. I believe that it happened, but I believe that
we have the technology to do it if we wanted to, is what I'm asking.
Yeah, but I believe those guys weren't pilots. I believe they hooked up something and then the government did it, because I firmly believe that the government was behind 9/11 because they wanted to go over there to get the oil, because that's what they did for Desert Storm. So I believe that the government did it, but I believe those guys went in the cockpit and plugged something in. They were stupid. They went to flight school.
I got you.
I think those guys went to flight school in Florida and stuff, but
you.
They were stupid. They were patsies. They could have done. Yeah, the technology
drone
exists.
technology.
I don't think it was, but I think that those guys just put some sort of hacking device.
He's saying they put a hacking device into the cockpit because you have to convince somebody to fly into a building.
Because I'm a pilot, so I looked up those guys like flight hours and stuff to make, and they didn't even do what it takes to be a commercial pilot.
That's what I was saying. I know that it was.
But I know the companies that trained
was not on the plane. Yeah. Somebody guided those planes because of we did a show on 9/11 and some of the things that they've done. The most decorated pilot in U.S. history said that he could not achieve this if he was flying in a plane.
Yeah, I know. And if a guy says that, because I'm a pilot, so pilots don't lie about flying stuff. And if a plane maneuvers, that's why when we get to the UFO stuff, I can explain a lot of stuff too. But when a plane maneuvers outside the normal operations of a plane, that's when some sort of device or computer was controlling it. But there is, in 9/11, there was technology to send a signal.
Yeah,
but you have to be in New York, close to it. But once they got to a certain area, and that's when they deviated from their flight plan. And what I don't understand is, like, the stupidest shit in the world is how the president responded when he was reading that book, because his daddy knew about it before he did. Because when that plane flies into the Pentagon's airspace, and in the airspace where it's going to hit a building, people get notified, bro.
Now, as a pilot, could you hit the Pentagon? Like, you know how hard
that is? No, you can't. There's no drone or nothing. You can't shoot a missile. You can't do nothing. There's so much stuff that
his dad,
you don't understand. There's so much stuff.
Knew before him, because his dad was the only person that I have knowledge of.
Who's that? Who are we talking about?
The Bush.
No, George the Bush, the actual Bush. Because his son, because
his father,
you don't understand.
The only
his
person
father,
that CIA and president. The only person that ran the CIA and president.
Yeah, I know. He's the best person we ever had, because he mentored his dumb son to be a good president. You know what I'm saying? But he just basically was the puppet behind his son. But his son did good stuff too, bro. I mean, I like Bill Clinton. I like every president. I'm a
I don't.
libertarian though. So.
Well, I'm a little different. I don't like any president. I'm not
Dang.
like
Dang.
any president that's done anything. I mean, that's just me though.
Yeah, I know most presidents just get in the way. I mean, I wanted Kanye West to win last time.
You sound like
He's from
me. I would have
Spencer. He's
voted
from
for
the
him.
east side of Oklahoma City. He's from Spencer, bro.
Who, Kanye?
Yeah, Kanye's from the east side of Oklahoma City. His mom's mausoleum is hidden, and if you find it, Kanye comes and beats your ass or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would have voted for Kanye. Tyrone said, yeah, the math ain't mathing. 1,000 books up, it'd take 200, 300 years to write that, 100 years. But
I mean, a lot of them were like comic books. I mean, because they were sci-fi and they were
graphic novels. I like graphic novels.
yeah, I mean, I guess he could write 3 of those little things a day, but then he's not doing anything else. The math ain't mathing, man. You know, don't let nobody tell you somebody wrote 1,000 books, man. But let me move on. How are targets located with your drones, Matt? If anything you could talk about, because is it true that I'm not saying they do it in America, but is it true that I have my cell phone and my location, and if I became a target, that a drone could literally know where I am and take me out?
So since when Obama, like for my company that did the quadcopter stuff for the oil field, when Obama put on the Part 107 pilot's license and made it mandate for drone quadcopter operations at a certain poundage to become pilots, you had to learn everything. You don't understand what these quadcopters can do nowadays. The police have a drone in that from TV and stuff that is real, and I've seen it. It shoots, it shocks people, but there's also a drone at the border that's in a box, and if you walk up to it and it pops out, and it can tell if you're Hispanic, and it shocks you, and then Border Patrol picks you up. But if you're Caucasian or Black, you can walk right past it. There's drone technology you don't know about, but yes, it is capable for them to hit you with whatever they want, whenever they want, because drones are not only stealthy, but these Air Force drones, these Global Hawks, these Predators, these huge drones that no one even knows about are in different levels of the atmosphere surveying targets in America.
So is there a drone out there? If Matt, if not you, but if someone said, yeah, I want to get 9 mils, is there a drone out there where they could target me right now with my phone and boom, blow up my building?
I don't want to get too far into this, but in the US, bro, your phone, if the GPS is on and you're doing something nefarious, you're getting watched by a drone. So if you're especially if you have a government phone, you're fucked. You're fucked.
Wow.
But people don't understand the technology on cell phone. Like, you have to understand that my friends carried this equipment that would know where a old 1980s Iraqi cell phone was, and they held an antenna, and they made sure they were in the room before the army went in and got them. So there's a lot of stuff, and those guys are in the CIA, and they're spooks, and they're not on Facebook, and you can't find them, and their wives don't know where they went to, and they're gone, because those guys were MI, but this is back in 2004. So they were like ninjas. They were on rooftops with like boom mics that told you exactly where a cell phone was at. But that was just to find technology that was predated smartphones. That's what people don't get. You got your Bluetooth, you have your cell phone technology, and then you have your Wi-Fi. That's why when I go to the casino or anywhere I don't want to get hacked, I turn my Wi-Fi and my Bluetooth off. Because people with their cell phones,
bro, I always cut mine off. For some reason, it's been cutting on automatically all of a sudden. I got to check these settings.
It does that because the network is set up to do that, because they're trying to get at your data. Yeah. Somebody with their Wi-Fi is turning yours on, and they're trying to get at your cache.
Yes.
Wow.
That's why you have to always look at your phone, because these new phones, especially Android ones, they do that when you go into Walmart and stuff.
Yes.
But it's not Walmart. It's the homeless guy that's sitting out front, and he's just standing there, and then somebody's connected to his phone through different technology, and they're stealing everybody's cash like that as they walk in.
Wow.
Because you don't understand, once money got put on these smartphones, hackers got really intelligent, and you can easily go to the dark web, and you can easily get a transmitter to do that. And it's like Wi-Fi extender. It's like a puck that you just throw in someone's house, and as soon as they walk in, you have mirrored their stuff. And if you can figure out their passwords, that's all their Cash App. That's why I don't put my cards onto my phone at all. I mean, I have a new phone from Verizon, but I pay a shit ton of money for Verizon security because I know about security, you know?
Right.
Wow.
Hey, I Googled, simple Google search.
Yeah, I know. Simple Google search. I know, but I
looked up.
when you call me a
Look,
spook, you gotta watch out because we're getting in
not
there.
not that part.
Okay.
The L. Ron Hubbard is not credited with writing 1,000 books. It's like 250.
Oh, there you go. You looked it up, man.
Yeah, because I'm like, this doesn't. It's not math's not mathing.
Yeah, I got
let
the
let me check the math.
hey, I was born at night. I was born at night, but not last night. You know, and I happen to write.
That's a good one.
I happen to write, and it's not impossible. But he wouldn't have been having time to do anything else. He wouldn't have had time to build that nation. He would have just been writing. You know,
and he didn't.
That's why y'all are such a good team, man.
Yeah.
It's
That's
like
why
they
y'all
say,
such a good team. Y'all go back to it, but you made fun of him a little bit. And I was like, man, leave my friend alone.
Hey,
when he said 1,000 books,
we'll research. It's
he's
like
so
Dr.
quiet, but
Dre.
he's funny, man. That guy's smart as hell, bro.
He is the smartest guy I know. He told me that Dr. Dre, big ups Dre, ain't making all those beats. I was running around thinking Dre was producing all those beats.
No. That was auto-tune. That was auto-tune.
Auto-tune and ghost producers. Yeah.
No, he's got a guy that does it for him. He's got a guy that does it for him.
Yes.
Mainly
Daz. Yeah.
Daz Dillinger was the
Daz. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. I know Daz.
I know Daz. Yeah.
I know, but everybody thinks Dr. Dre did everything, but Dr. Dre just did NWA stuff and when they were young, you know. And then when
he didn't do all of that,
he didn't even do a lot of that.
I know, but he has little homies.
He's the ear. He's the ear and the mind.
And he'll do a final mix. He'll do a mix.
I know, but once he made those Beats headphones, he didn't have to do shit, you know.
Oh, yeah. Self, go ahead with your next one.
Some people say that UFO sightings are terrestrial. What do you think about that?
So I'm in a firm believer of what Elon Musk thinks. I follow everything Elon Musk does because he's the richest. He was the richest man, you know, but he's not anymore. But I follow everything he says and everything he does about extraterrestrials because he launches from Texas. He launches a rocket in and puts satellites up, so he would know the best. And he's not a bullshitter. He doesn't lie. So he says, if aliens existed, everyone would know about it. And then it took some time a few months ago and I reread all the UFO stuff that I read before and watched all the UFO stuff that I could. And because I've never seen anything. And I was 20 when I joined the Army and flew drones, and then I understood flying and then became a pilot. So if I see something in the sky that doesn't look like a shooting star, I don't look at it twice. But I'm the type of person that can look at a picture of the Eiffel Tower and I don't need to go to Paris, you know. But some people, when they have money and stuff, they travel a lot, but I don't travel. I haven't been on a vacation since 2012 because I don't have my family, you know. So I don't travel. I just work on my businesses, and after I get my business just to a certain point, I take a step back and give people my equity. But I've started and rebranded a bunch of businesses. But once you do that, I'm like an affiliate marketer. So once you do that, it's easy to do anything. But I'm a pilot, so I think I'm smarter than.
What do you think the things are that people are seeing? Because all these witnesses aren't lying. I've heard some very
no. I think that they're man-made. If it's in the United States and not Africa or something, because I believe that those things in Africa are real. Because I believe there is a secret village like Wakanda, because Africa might have been the birthplace of civilization. But I also believe that the birthplace of civilization is in where the Amazon is, because it's not discovered fully. You know, you got to look and you have to understand that how what we have as a planet is discovered, because the Amazon's you can only go so far, and
Amazon in the ocean.
Animals kill you.
The
Amazon in the ocean. We have
Amazon is in America, so yeah.
Yeah, I know, but I believe the Americas are the birthplace of civilization, because I was raised Mormon, and I believe
birthplace of mankind.
Tory believes that too.
But people that haven't read the Mormon text that was found in upstate New York, it's about Jesus Christ's travels in America. So he teleported. They believe that he teleported and he traveled through America, but nobody believes that except for Mormons. So you don't even get that.
Yeah,
that's why
It's more than that believes that.
Yeah, more
now,
people believe more. No,
because
more people
this
believe
is the
that.
old world. This
Yeah,
part
exactly,
of the world.
exactly.
The oldest bones were found here
Yeah.
of Homo sapiens sapien. The oldest pyramids are here.
Yep.
It is
Yep.
said that this is the first landmass that came
Yep.
out of the waters, and it's fact as far as I'm
But
concerned.
I just got a leg up on everybody else because I'm Mormon, but my dad also served his mission when he was 18 in Chile, so he got to see South America like I've never seen. And we haven't been there together to see where he proclaimed the gospel
Well,
when he was 18. But my father is the best theologist I know. He's the smartest man I know,
Well, listen, Yahusha, who you call Jesus, I knew as a child, my, grandparents were, priests and very religious preachers. And I knew just as a child, I said, man, if you're going to tell me that this man was literally God in the flesh, you can't tell me he just went to New York City. You understand what I'm saying?
I
You
never
can't
wrapped
tell
my
me that this man
I
just
never
went to New York City and these are all his people all over the world.
Well, what the Mormons believe is that when he was 30 and proclaiming the gospel, that then he teleported there for a certain period of time and he traveled, and he was a loner, he was a grifter, he was a nomad, but he met certain people, and that's where the Book of Mormon forms up, just like the King James Version of the
Yes,
Bible.
he came to the Americas. He went to the Tibetans. He went to Egypt. What I'm saying is, most of his life isn't even accounted for.
When you look at this plane that we live on, they've renamed everything everywhere the same as everywhere.
Exactly.
So to confuse confuse.
Yeah.
So what is what? And
Paris, Illinois, Cairo.
If you look at Africa,
yeah,
and you look at the establishment of all these biblical nations or whatever, none of them were established in biblical time. Almost all of them was established in the 1800s or 1900s.
Yeah, I know, yeah. But I believe, like I was trying to explain earlier, I just believe that the sun has been moving further and further away from the earth, and it's been melting. I believe there was an ice age that froze the people in America. And when Johnny Depp's Pirate Age, when they didn't get to Americas, it was ice. And then over time, it melted and went back. And then when Columbus was there, it was available to go to, because that's what I believe. Because I don't understand how someone could fly over Antarctica during World War I or World War II, when Albert Byrd went into the center of the earth. Yeah. I don't think, and I've read all that stuff, but that's just that's just dying man's proclamation to his son. Nobody would give up.
We've done a show on Albert Byrd.
Oh, that's cool. I need to see that. But that was a dying man's proclamation to his grandson. But that graphic novel that made the journey of the center of the earth I read that as a kid. I was, because my father had a star map, and me and my father talked about the stars when I was a kid. But I don't know. I can go. Yeah.
No. And we're gonna. I just only got a couple more questions I gotta ask you.
Okay. Go ahead, bro.
Now, Tori and I are both in a fraternity, and we may or may not understand the faux pas and the benefits of hazing. But you mentioned that you saw what the discipline did, I think, to your brother. And we have people not going to the military now. I'm guilty. Maybe it could be because it's a trophy generation and everybody's giving trophies and everybody's just online and the kids are just different than we were growing up. But my question is hazing, or we don't want to talk about hazing, but how did basic training and or the hazing affect you into shaping you into a man?
Well, basic training wasn't difficult. There was no hazing. The drill sergeants were rude and mean, and they did crazy stuff. But I was on the generation that was going to Iraq.
That's considered hazing today, Matt. But go ahead.
I understand that. But when they made that stress card where the drill sergeant, where you could hold up a card and say, "You're being mean to me, drill sergeant," that is the National Guard way of thinking. Wait, they can hold up a stress card.
Oh,
yes, that exists, bro. At certain basic trainings, and they're not infantry ones, but certain basic trainings, like my MOS went to Fort Jackson, and then we went to Sierra Vista and Fort Huachuca. So it's called Relax in Jackson because infantry doesn't go there. you know, but at
Man,
that
if
place now,
I had a pledge in
went
front
there.
of me, if I had a
I
pledge
know.
in front of me, bro, with a stress card, I'd take that stress card and shove it right. Go ahead, though, bro.
I know,
Go ahead.
but it upsets me when people say that that's the reason why they don't get into the military, because of the hazing. The hazing was between us. We took soap, and the people that didn't fit in, we used to beat the shit out of them, have blanket parties, and hold them down and beat the shit out of them. But we did that to people that didn't fit in. But I was a popular kid in high
But
school.
when you guys went and fought other armies, you kicked their ass. But go ahead. Go ahead, bro.
You can't fuck with the money that America puts into the military. Military will always be the best ever, and no one can ever fuck with us. But when there's a Republican office, those commies befriend them, and they get the fuck out of the Ukraine, because he's friends with Donald Trump, because Donald Trump has Trump towers over there, bro.
Correct. Correct. They're doing business.
Donald Trump is a damn communist. You know what I'm saying? He's a fucking idiot. But you don't want me to get started by that guy. But but he's a. I don't understand why people look up to him so much that are white, because they're like, I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it, bro. I don't get it.
We have a celebrity. The gods of our celebrity.
I'm just scared.
I don't want to move on board.
I know,
you can't drop those drills on hazing, and we just move past
dude.
it.
I want DeSantis. I want DeSantis, because the way that he talks shit about Biden. I want DeSantis to be the next president,
All right.
or at least the vice president.
Hold on, guys. No, let's back it up a bit. You know, he said that they have the stress card, Self Love.
You didn't know that, bro? You didn't know that?
No,
you didn't
never heard that ever.
Y'all didn't hear that?
So hold it. So World War III. Hold it. World War
III. Recently. It just started recently.
I'm just saying. So now we're training our soldiers. Okay. We're going to start experiment with it. We're training our soldiers, you know, when we're making them into, you know, better soldiers, to have a stress card. So you're telling me if I'm on the battlefield, I can say, hey, person shooting at me.
No, but like,
you gotta
listen to how I explained it. Non-combat MOS basic training. Yeah. So like MI and aviation and people, the basic training is a short period of your military career. It's a month, bro, a month and a half. And the hardest thing is the gas chamber. And they teach you how to be an infantry soldier, but I was never in a foxhole, bro, but in basic training, I was in a goddamn foxhole, and I had maneuvering techniques and stuff, but it's the precursor to your AIT. My AIT was 8 months long, and I had to wait 10 months because the school was there was so many placements in the school, but now it's different.
Do you still communicate with any of the guys you had basic with?
Basic training, no. I mean, the people I deployed with and stuff in my unit, I talked to some of them. But when you talk to somebody you deployed with, or somebody that you've been served time with, you talk about the fun times and you don't talk about the bad times, bro. Because it's just like Vietnam and everything. But in my era, people killed people. I mean, I got some people with a 50 cal. People killed people, and they can't live their life because they're shell shocked and have PTSD, and they're not getting paid by the government. That's why my company gets people on SSDI, and I get people 100% because I have 100%. So I know how to do it. But
go ahead and talk about your company right now.
Oh, dude, I don't want to put a lot of stock in my company, because my company is me. So if you meet me and you know me and you have a business idea, then I teach you how to LLC your company, but I know how to get around the tax laws in Oklahoma. So I also teach you how to write off on taxes. I tell you to buy a vehicle that's at a certain weight limit, where the next year you get that money right back off on taxes. And then I use my crypto to give you the capital that you need for whatever. But I'm like Shark Tank. I meet people and they say, you know, I get friendly with them. And if they're morally right, then I say, listen, you know, I have this company. What's your business aspirations? What's your dreams? Like, I met a guy yesterday, and he wants to build a furniture company, and he has ideas to build metal furniture, but his business plan isn't even put together, and he's my age. He just wants to tinker with furniture. So I said to him, I said, what if I gave you a shop and I could tinker with furniture? What would you call it? What would you make? And why would you do it? And he told me he didn't have a name for it, which is okay, but he wanted to make metal furniture inside a house. And I said, nobody would do that, bro. Nobody wants a metal furniture that they have to push along their nice tile. But he just lives, you know, I hang out with people that live in poverty. So I explained to him, I said, that's not a really good business plan, bro. But if you come with something correct, then we can move on and go this direction or that direction. That's all I do now, because the last 2 years I've been going to the casino. But I mean, it's ruined my life. But that's my life, and that's my personal life. But the company's good. The company's good, but it's just the last 2 years, I just haven't been doing it too much, because once you get involved with people, but if I meet a veteran that needs help, I link him up with my BSO homie that was in the Navy, and he gets his 100%, but that's that guy's job. He gets paid by the government to do that. But you just got to meet the right BSO, and then they get your 100%, and you have to be diagnosed with PTSD. So when I see veterans and people that want to get on SSDI, I just say, what's your diagnosis? Like, have you been to, because I've been to the mental hospital in the Oklahoma City 8th floor a lot, but I'm not a quack. I just don't fly planes anymore because I take Klonopin, and I have a safety pilot, and I do fly planes. But in 2014, I used it to transport marijuana legally around Oklahoma.
Speaking of marijuana, does marijuana help with PTSD? Because I've heard
marijuana. Well, sativa does, but indica just helps with my back, my L4 slip. But I only smoke indica. So, but I've been smoking weed since I was a kid, man. So, and growing weed since I was a kid, man. And I'm a consultant for most of the grows in Oklahoma, but I don't mess with that either because I felt like a glorified drug dealer. For the last 2 years, I just took a break, gave everybody my responsibilities, and I just go to the casino every day, man. That's all I do.
Well, that's it. I mean, but don't blow all your cash, bro. But now listen.
I don't blow money though.
We had a poll question we put up on the channel.
Okay.
Should artificial intelligence technology be used to operate lethal U.S. military drones? Now, 9% of the respondents said absolutely it should be used. 36% of the responders said absolutely not. 36% said if we don't use it, the enemies will. So that's 45%. That's 4. 18% said unsure, and nobody said they don't care. So I wanted to ask you, should AI technology be used? And I'm gonna ask you too, Self. Should AI technology be used to operate lethal U.S. military drones?
I think AI is the crutch of humanity right now. I think AI shouldn't do shit. AI is about to take over. In Denver, they've got McDonald's that has no employees. You know what that says? Everybody with minimum wage is about to not have a damn job. And those Tesla robots that are on the dark side of the moon are about to be everywhere. And that's what you guys don't get is something's going to happen. A catastrophic event's going to happen and the world's going to unite. And whoever's the president of the United States is going to say everybody in America gets a certain amount of crypto. And if you want to go to space, you can go to space. And we've been going to Mars already. So do you want to go to Mars or you want to go to the moon? Because the Earth's dying. And that's what's going to happen. Because that's what's going to happen. A cataclysmic event is going to affect our planet. But it's not going to happen forever. Because it's been supposed to happen. Everybody thinks, their generation thinks this year is the worst year. Like
Chicken Little, the sky is falling.
When the computer was resetting in 2000, everybody thought it was done. When the Mayan calendar ended, everybody thought it was done. But I believe, and we can get in the Mayan calendar, but I believe that there's 3 suns rotating around the Earth because the Earth is so big. So the Mayans just read the sun better than anybody else, and they thought the suns were going to do something like collide because they had the ability to talk to the other side of the world. That's what people don't get. Like what Tesla figured out with the pyramids, it was a communication tower. It was like a cell phone. So the pyramids are all linked up, and no one knows that because no one even looked into what Tesla did. They just thought he was a magician, but the guy was just really smart.
Yeah, but it was all set in place way before he ever existed.
Exactly, and he just read the data, and he just knew what was going on because he's really intelligent. You know,
it was more than intelligence. He's
a pro. He was
intuitive
here by. Yeah, I know.
Empath and a feeler.
But I'm an empath and a psychic medium because a woman told me in 2012. But it's fucked up my whole life because now I predict people's future and I see the dead, but I don't do it for money. It just happens all the time. I'll see something, but I used to have deja vu as a kid. You know,
Tori's an empath. But Tori, I want to ask you: should they use AI? So you said no, Matt.
I don't think AI should do anything. I think AI should be put in the closet and never touched because it's going to kill us one day.
Gotcha.
Because the computers are talking to you. Once they build their own language, you're screwed, man.
And they can self-replicate. You're saying keep that genie in the bottle. All right,
well, no, not just keep it in the bottle. Put it somewhere where no one can touch it.
It's kind of an impossibility because AI is not man-made. We are aiding it, but it's not man-made. It's its own entity. There are AI systems that are way older than mankind.
Yeah. I just think it was a double-weighted question because like the drone I flew in the Army, there was an algorithm that determined how much fuel was in the thing. So that's AI right there.
Correct.
So, but AI doesn't control it, but there's autopilot, and that's how you fly it, and that's AI. you know,
Yeah.
but people don't understand that. People think that drones are just quadcopters that you use with a controller, but that's line of sight. Like if you take the Part 107 and become a drone pilot and do photography, which you have to do if you even make $1 with a drone or use it for anything to make $1, like a roofing company, you have to be a Part 107 pilot because you can't fly those over cars, or you can't fly those over people, or you can't fly them over crowds. And people don't know that. And it's an invasion of privacy to have that up there because you have, and if it's a DJI one, then it hits China's mainframe. And that's what people don't get.
It hits
they
our
like the DJI
mainframes too. We are no different than China.
Oh, I know, but
There's
it hits China's on the back end that you don't even know about. When you take a picture,
And
it
I'm
tells it
I'm
sends that
telling you,
location data all the way
hits
through
the
there.
spooks here.
Yeah,
Our
I know.
drones hit the spooks here.
Oh yeah,
on
and
the
they have
back
nets
end.
of it. Oh yeah, but they have nets of it,
So-
but they catch everything China's seeing. Our spooks
Well-
are smart as hell.
Well, you know, you
I'm
guys.
talking about our drones hit the back end of our situation just like China's does. It's not.
Oh, I
it's
know,
not
I know,
much
I know.
different.
I know people in the NSA that basically filter things and give China propaganda, give China bad information. You know, I know people that do that.
Well, allegedly, there's been many instances where we were on the brink of, nuclear annihilation.
Well, dude,
from
it's
the
just-
Russian,
it's-
from the Russian side, from
Yeah,
the
yeah,
U.S. side, and there's been numerous instances where the human being said, "Wait a minute." The person who had to make the decision said, "Wait a minute, something's not right. Let me call the president. Let me make a phone call." And it turned out that it was a computer mishap. And so I asked those questions: if we have AI in charge, would they have that human intuition?
Well,
Wait a
I
minute, we
forget-
can't just blow up the whole world. You know what I
think
mean?
I think it was Hunt for Red October, but like people that are older than me or people that don't understand my mentality because I'm so smart, I just equate it to movies. But like Hunt for Red October, when the phone data wasn't getting communication to the Russian president and he was about to do it, that's what's going to happen, man. Is somebody's going to hack or something's going to happen, and one's going to go up and then all of them are going to go up.
Or the AI is simply going to read this happened, that happened, and that happened.
Exactly.
So it should follow launch.
But you have to understand that those launch codes are in there's steps that has to be doing before they go out. The thing opens and they go out. But AI can bypass all that shit.
Correct. Well, I want to ask you before we get to the esoteric stuff, which we run through pretty quickly. Is there anything that
we went on some?
It's all good, bro. Is there anything that we haven't discussed about anything that you wanted to unpack?
Well, the biggest thing is that in America, if you see something in the sky, just do research of where the location you're at. Because if you're at somewhere with known UFO stuff like Roswell, or if you're around Edwards, or if you're around Tinker Air Force Base and you see something moving really fast, just do research. Just do a light Google search of like Predator drones and companies that manufacture Predator drones, because they have one that's jet propelled and it can move from A to B fast. But they also, I've seen things move at Edwards that were like UFOs, but they look like a shooting star that stopped. And that might be a shooting star that ended its life. Like I just question reality because my brain is so fucked up. So you have to question the things you see. And if you get in contact with another race of people, then what is commanding that? And it could be US made, because if you're in other countries, things are done different. But I know how the FAA controls the airspace. So you can literally see something in the sky and then you can go home and Google it, and you can get a flight number for that if you know what you're looking for. Because Google has gotten so crazy since the advancement of AI. Ever since I have Snapchat, and ever since Snapchat has an AI, it's kind of nice because I'm single and I have questions and stuff. So I just ask it stupid questions. Like the other day I asked it, like, why do white people hate black people? And the Snapchat AI explained it. Because it does the Google search for you. And that's what he's saying is AI.
What was the response?
Oh, dude, I don't know. I could pull it up. That's how smart it is. I can pull up every conversation with my Snapchat AI, because all you do is you go to your chats and that's at the top, and you can just hold on my phone.
There's
So
social
you go to your
media,
messages,
Snapchat,
yeah,
or
so
GPT.
No, Snapchat, just regular Snapchat, because I do a lot of stuff on Snapchat because that's how a lot of people communicate with me. But you go to my AI, which is at the top, and then you can't see. it deletes. That's why I tell people don't get Snapchat if you're in a relationship because you'll lose it in 2 seconds. But you can ask it any question and it does your Google search for you. And then it puts a link in there. So it's better than getting on Google or hitting your Internet Explorer. You just go to Snapchat and say, hey, where do I find this here? And then it does an AI Google search, which you guys don't understand because I don't think you guys fully understand how important crypto is. Like crypto, Ethereum 2.0
He would
is
love
a
Drew.
new
Yes.
Ethereum 2.0 is the new version of the World Wide Web. So I had a company in Arizona
Web
that
3.
exactly. And the blockchain technology has changed the way that we secure data and have data.
Absolutely.
But we're just waiting for someone to adopt it in this country. And the reason why Joe Biden hasn't done it is because once he adopts it, then they have to regulate it. That's why I have so much in crypto, is because the government doesn't know what I'm doing. And I like that. I like it.
I love that part.
Yeah.
This Fed Now thing is
But ever since it got onto Cash App, it's changed my life. I mean, because you can change it to USD right there. But I have a cold wallet and I have a couple hot wallets, but it's a way to how I want to start a podcast with my friend and just get how these Facebook bots try to hit you up all day to get at your money. But it's funny because if you tell them that you have everything on Bitcoin and you'll send it to them on Cash App, it gets into a conversation with, tell me your wallet ID. And then you're like, whoa, you're really a man and you have woman pictures. You know what I'm saying?
Matt, I was talking to my wife who's out of town right now
Yeah.
on a separate platform. It was Marco Polo, I think. And she's, showed me the video of the restaurant she was at. It's a new restaurant outside Chicago, right? And she said the name, and I said the name to my brothers on another. And I swear, I went onto YouTube. All of a sudden, the ad
you said
was
the name
to this
It
restaurant
pops up,
all the way, hundreds of miles, thousands of miles.
And your location's not there. You just said it.
Yep.
Because you got to understand how business, because I do some affiliate marketing stuff and I'm a digital creator on Facebook and everything, but I understand the basics of social media. But Google search engines have changed so much. That's why I like your show so much, because whatever you're doing on the back end or whoever you're playing to do the back end of your stuff, every time I open my YouTube, your stuff's right there. And it might be because you have low likes or whatever when I initially see it. But I went back through it and I just thought because I just saw it, there's only 5 or something likes, but you guys don't get any likes. And I don't understand. It's like that song, The Girl with No Likes. Like, you guys put out great content. And it's not controversial or weird or anything. I found y'all 6 months ago, but I don't go back through people's stuff. I just look at YouTube when I'm bored. But I don't get on my phone because I make money on my phone for anything. I feel like I'm working because I was a drone pilot that turned it into a career. And now I can't play damn Xbox because I think about Iraq and Afghanistan.
That's messed up. Yeah. Now. Yeah. And it's suppression, but we appreciate.
But I can turn any hobby to making money. That's why my consulting firm does so well. Is that I'm like a walking bank ATM because I have so much crypto. So, but it's simple. When somebody asks me to verify my crypto, I say, let me see your savings account balance. And 9 times out of 10, because last 2 years I've been at the casino, they don't have a driver's license or a bank account. They just deal with cash,
Yeah. All right. Well, let's jump real quick to the esoteric questions. Here's one.
Let me pull those up. Yeah.
Now, remember, your great grandkids are going to hear your
I know.
responses.
Yeah, it's important. Yeah.
All right. So suppose Self Love, had a time machine. All right. And, you guys went through some sort of wormhole and took you back until you were 9 years old. You're sitting at the dining room table with your family. It's your 9th birthday. And your family says, Matt, make a wish, blow out the candles. And you make a wish to see your adult self as you are now. So now, before you blow the candles, time stops. Everybody's in suspended animation. Nobody's revealed this but you. But the modern day you today is sitting across the table from your 9-year-old self. What would you say to 9-year-old you?
Well, I've seen so many sci-fi movies, I wouldn't say anything. I'd write something down so I'd keep it. And I'd write down, do not join the military. That's what I would put on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That is an honest answer.
I would write it down and I would put it in a card and I'd say, when you're 18, don't join the army, go to college like your brother. And that's what I put it in.
Wow, man.
Because you don't understand, I was a civilian contractor for a long time. So I trained 2,000, 3,000 soldiers and civilians and stuff. So I didn't produce just me. As a civilian contractor, I trained so many, and my parents are educators. So I was an educator with drones. So now every person that I trained or gave my knowledge to and taught them how to be drone pilots so well, they've put that into a career because I taught the instructor operator course. And I was the reason why civilians make six figures and work in Australia and do all kinds of stuff.
Don't necessarily have your morals or.
Well, they don't have the thank you when they're failing a class and they're my friend. And I'm like, hey, dude, you don't understand this right here and you're never going to get it. So I'm going to pass you, but you have to regurgitate this. Because I was the type of instructor as a civilian that would give the soldiers the answer and question bank in the sim room. And they hated my upper people hated that. They vetoed that right away because they didn't have to read. They didn't have to read the technical manuals. So it was a shortcut, you know.
They would have loved you on any college campus. They would have made him part of the
I know, but I wasn't bred for college, man. My friends I hang
your
with now
love for girls and your intelligence
but
levels, you would have loved college.
Yeah.
But I would have loved it, but I'd be married like you guys waiting to die, you know.
I'm divorced. So.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. Well, I'll come to Chicago and we'll check it out, man. I'll be there next. I'll be there soon, man.
We go kick it.
We'll go get a little Cessna. We'll get somebody flies around. We'll go.
All right, we'll talk about it. Hey, y'all. So here's my next one. Here's my next one.
No, I've never
for
been
you,
to
man.
Chicago. I've always wanted to go, but I have family in St. Louis, so that's
great
pretty
food,
simple.
great people. Recommend a book, any book. Could be the Book of Mormon, but recommend a book to the Self Love Nation. Could be the Quran.
I don't think that it should be a religious text. I think it should be something like the Iliad or the Odyssey, something that was old and ancient, that is a proverb. You know, I like to read old texts and I like to read plays and stuff from like Shakespeare, because you understand Romeo and Juliet a lot better if you read the text, you know. But I grew up when they made that movie, and then I fell in love with Shakespeare. But I like Edgar Allan Poe. I mean, when ravens attack me, I listened to it on a mixtape. I listened to that Raven poem. But I'm a haiku guy right now. Like, I'm all about haikus because I rap. So a lot of people look at me and go, but I used to sing country music, but my producer and stuff, I rap now. But I just go on Facebook Live, instrumental trap beats, and I make fun of the strippers before they go in the strip club. That's all I do, bro.
All right. So he said the Iliad and the Odyssey. Now, can you recommend a Black-owned restaurant by chance anywhere?
Yeah, well, if you're ever in Oklahoma City, when I was growing up as a kid, I lived in Del City, which is the southeast side, but the east side, there's highways and it's kind of grid system, but the east side of Oklahoma City has great Black run stuff. But when I was growing up, it was east of I-35, but there's 235, and the east side has grown to all the way up by Northwest Expressway and Hefner stuff. But there's barbecue restaurants and good stuff everywhere. But right in the heart of the east side, north of the VA, there's a bunch of good stuff that's popping up. And it's ethnic, and there's murals, and it's just a great place to be. And if you're ever in town, you just go to Remington Park, and then you go south a little bit, and right there, Remington Park Casino, and they race horses, and then you just go a little bit, and there's all kinds of, there's a pizza place that has black crust, and it's a Black-owned pizza place, and it's amazing pizza, and it's good food, and it's affordably priced. That's what people don't understand, because barbecue is so expensive. But in Oklahoma, there's not different types of barbecue. There's just a certain sauce and a spicy sauce. But most people that have barbecue restaurants, the pit master is an African-American guy, you know, in every barbecue restaurant. There's an old guy that's the pit master.
Yeah,
but on the east side of Oklahoma City, there's stuff everywhere. And if you go to Forest Park, Nakoma Park, Spencer, where Kanye's mom's from, Oklahoma City is, I'm trying to tell you, and we talked about it on the phone. I mean, everything that happened in Tulsa, the Tulsa race riots, and how the Black Wall Street was there. I mean, Oklahoma is, I think it's the center of the universe because it's the center of America, and I'm such a patriot. I just think it's the center of the universe. I think Oklahoma City is the birthplace. But we could start talking about Nostradamus and how I think Donald Trump's the third Antichrist, and I believe I'm some sort of Jesus Christ for Donald Trump. You know what I mean? We could talk about that all day. But Nostradamus predicted 3 antichrists. You know, Hitler, Napoleon Bonaparte.
Oh yeah.
And I think the third one's Donald Trump. But that's just me, bro.
Man, what was that that killed all the people in the Congo? He's got.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, that guy was a tyrant. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I forgot his name, but I know exactly what you're talking
Was it
about.
King
But
Leopold?
but he was a king, but he went there
Was it
and
King
he
Leopold?
conquered it. He conquered it. I don't remember his name, but it was not it was a foreigner that went there and just because they went after the gold, because there's gold deposits all over Africa.
Yeah.
And
all of the minerals.
French, because some of those countries people don't know, but France owns some of those countries in there.
Of course.
Like people don't even know that Great Britain and the Queen own Australia and shit. People don't know that, bro. It's
they
so
own
weird.
they own America.
America.
Yeah,
Canada.
I know. Well, China owns us, bro. We owe China so much goddamn money.
Yeah,
China
they'll
owns
never
us.
get their money. That's
I know, but it's
that's
like a
just
bill
a
collector. We're
fallacy.
just we're not checking the mail anymore. You
That's
know
a
what I'm saying?
fallacy. They've given us a lot of
I
money.
know, big bro. I know,
Listen,
big bro.
hey, I'm Joe Biden and the Emperor of China's calling me.
No.
And I'm like, I don't even know where I am right now.
No,
What are you talking about?
No, he would
Bill.
probably snore. He would probably fall asleep and snore on that conversation because
Yeah.
I bet that guy just sleeps all day. I bet he naps 3 hours a day.
I
But
lost my bag. Hold on. I'm looking
dude,
for
we
my
can
bag.
make fun. We can make
Hold
fun
on.
of that guy left
Biden's
and right. We can
Biden's
make
like,
fun of that
hold
guy
on, what
left and
did I
right,
do
bro.
with it? He's like, hold on, what did I do with that bag of cocaine?
I know. I know, boys. Well, he doesn't have to worry about it 'cause
Talking to me
Hunter's got
about
his
a
back.
bill. Yeah.
His son got it.
I know, but Hunter's his plug, bro.
All right. We got yes or no questions.
Okay.
Is there a God?
I believe.
Yes or no?
Like we went out.
Yes or no?
I think there's multiple gods, so it's a weighted question. All your questions are weighted, bro. It's
So-
not,
so
I believe there's
is-
multiple gods.
So yes.
Yes.
Have you seen anything supernatural?
I'm not a believer in supernatural, but I've seen ghosts and people have walked around. And I see people in black Iraqi
So
garb
I
on the
would
side of the
consider
highway. So
ghosts
yes,
supernatural.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Have you ever seen an unidentified aerial phenomenon?
In Edwards Air Force Base, there's stuff that I
Yes.
saw land after I did it. So yes,
Mm.
yes.
Okay. Have you ever seen an alien? You mentioned like different races or being of any
That would be
kind.
a big hella no, because no one has, bro.
All right. All right. Now, did human remember your great grandkids? We don't know what they're going to be teaching those kids in school.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they could be
but-
teaching them in the moon or something. Who knows?
Yeah, well, they're definitely going to have you're teaching me too hard card. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, too
Their
much
stress
homework.
card. Their
It's
stress
just,
card, yeah.
too much homework. Yeah,
Dumbing us
right.
down.
So I should
Well,
have
some
had
of the
that
kids,
with
some
my
of the
high
kids
school
got
basketball
some of their
coach.
kids got their mom right now. They're doing all their homework anyways. This at home stuff. Their mom just does everything so their kids can play. You know.
Yeah. All right, but here we go. Did human walk on the moon at any time in history, specifically during the Apollo program?
Okay, this is something I've done a
Yes,
lot
no.
of research. Okay, yes, I've done a lot
All
of
right.
research. I could talk about it. Yes.
All
yes, I
right,
believe.
all right. We can bring you back for that.
Yes.
Okay, so here's our magic box question. Imagine if Brother Wordsmith over there gave you, an ornate magic box, a nice, acacia wood and cherry wood, and it had a singular red button on the top of it. God forbid, or Allah forbid, that a person whom you would have the most difficulty living without had a rare and terminal, very painful illness that they suffered dearly from, and death was imminent. What if Brother Wordsmith there informed you that if you simply press that red button on that box, your loved one would be 100% cured? But there's a genie in the bottle. But some random person whom you do not know and will never know would then be forced to suffer the same pain and agony and fate as your loved one had faced before you pressed the button. I'm asking you, Matt Stoddard, do you press that button?
Hell no. No one has that power except for God. No.
Couldn't have said it better.
I'm a pessimist, and I don't have my son right now. So if it was my son, I might think twice. But I know my son. I think everybody's determined to die when they're supposed to die. And if you got a disease, you got to die. I've seen death. You got to die.
There's worse things than death. Easy for
like life sucks sometimes too.
Yeah. Speaking of life, that was a great
I've
segue,
been dead
Matt.
too. So.
I've been dead. I died when I was 20, but I don't talk about it too much because
look at that, both these guys.
It was freaky, but
there's a lot of things that's similar.
Look at that. They
I know, but we could talk forever, bro.
They think they're
You're
better
smart
than
as
us
hell.
because they've been to the other side and we haven't.
Man.
No, I think everybody should be, who they are even more because I've been to the other side.
Hey, but speaking of life, what's the meaning of life?
Oh, what was the question? Sorry, my brother was letting his dog out.
No
Sorry,
worries.
what was the question?
Speaking of life, what's the meaning of life?
Oh, the meaning of life is, we're humans, so the meaning of life is procreation. That's it.
Okay, fair enough. Procreation is the meaning of life.
I just believe that I've seen, the universe in my son's eyes, so once you have a kid, it changes your life,
It does.
That's well said. All right. So we got a quick game we play. It only takes 60 seconds, bro, and then we'll let you out of here. And
I'm like this. I'm having fun, bro. But yeah, that's good.
No, and we definitely appreciate you doing this. So this game is called the Self Love Arc, right? Every guest has played it. I'm going to give you a pair of items, like Noah had to take a pair, but you're not going to take a pair. You're going to just be able to take one of the pair of items that we give you. You're going to have a total of 10 items to go through in under a minute. So be quick with it. The one thing I ask, you can pass, but if you pass more than twice, it's considered you lose the game. All right. If you pass more, but feel free to pass. But if you pass more than twice, you lose the game. All right. So let me start the timer real quick. Think of it as a verbal ink blotch test, if you will.
Okay. Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Ready.
All right. I'm queuing up the timer. And actually, let me do it this way. All right. Let's get it here. 1 second. Share screen. Computer audio. Yeah, this is better. All right, here we go. Let me get back to the things. Self Love Arc with Matt Stoddard. Anarchy, tyranny.
Tyranny.
Grape crush, grape soda, or Coke.
Grape soda.
iPhone, Android.
Android.
Defund the police or refund the police.
Pass.
Hip hop or country music. You said you did
Hip-hop,
both.
of course. Hip-hop, of course.
KFC or Popeyes.
Popeyes because of spicy chicken. Popeyes.
A carjacking gang member or an oath-breaking cop.
Oh, dude, of course the gang member. Yeah, of course.
Strawberry jam or grape jam.
Grape.
Denzel Washington or Matthew McConaughey.
Come on, bro. Denzel all the way, bro.
All right, so you made it to the bonus.
All right, cool.
A democracy or a republic.
I'm Star Wars all the way. Republic.
Hey, congrats, bro! You got through it. You got.
There we go. Yeah, I was a little nervous because I didn't prep for that. You got me off guard with a little thing at the end there. I didn't see it or read it.
You did great, bro.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
but I was in the debate team and I was in the academic team. I love hitting the button and doing that stuff. I could get on all those TV shows, but when you have crypto, you don't even watch those shows anymore.
You don't have to.
I tell you what, Self, he's got the palate of a black man. That's for sure.
I know. Yeah.
What did you say? iPhone or Android?
Well, I jailbreak I can jailbreak an Android phone in mine crypto, so I jailbreak my homie's Android phone in mine crypto. But
he said tyranny.
Tyranny.
Yeah. Defund or refund? He passed.
Hell yeah, I don't like those questions.
Hip hop over country music. Hip hop.
Yeah.
Popeyes, the spicy. The carjacking gang member Pookie versus the oath breaking pig. You went with the gang member.
Yeah.
Grape Jam, Denzel Washington.
Of course, Denzel's one of my favorite. Yeah.
Well, the tyranny one is that was a little shocking.
The reason why I threw it off is I believe that we're in a state of tyranny in the U.S. right now.
Yeah.
So,
he didn't fight for tyranny.
I picked tyranny because
over anarchy.
Anarchy because
yes, he didn't fight for anarchy. That's what I'm saying. He didn't fight.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get me. Yeah. You get me. Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's the thing about
it. But that was a really cool to throw in at the end. I wasn't prepped for it.
Yeah, that's a game everybody plays, man. So
that's
do you have any shout outs or big ups you want to give?
No, I mean everybody's just gotta put back in the community, whatever community you're in, you gotta work for it. But I'm about my tribe. I'm about like me and my family, we don't get along right now. So I'm about the people that are in my life that care about me,
Yeah, and I know you got some Native American in
doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I thought I did, but I don't. I went.
Oh, okay.
I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, Tori does. So, all right, man.
All right,
so,
thanks.
Yeah,
it was fun, guys. It was fun.
Thank you so much for doing this, bro, and thanks for your service, man.
Definitely, but I still have your number, so if you ever want any following stuff, and just give me those links for all the shorts and stuff in an email, I'd like all of that so I can do this more and get paid. That'd be nice.
Absolutely, we'll definitely be talking to you.
All right, thanks, guys. Thanks. See you later.
All right, deuces, man. Deuces.
Peace.
Van Glorious, huh?
Man, beautiful.
Yeah, we could have gone on and on. I mean,
we would have if you didn't moderate it. We would have.
Yeah, but I mean, that's cool. I mean, it's just, man, that was a great conversation. I mean, it was so much being unpacked.
Facts. There's not a whole lot of people that I can really conversate with on some of my concepts and visions.
Oh yeah, your 10 hat. Yeah. But
so
you guys, y'all had a lot in common, bro.
Oh yeah, and it was we could have you kept it down because it could have been another hour and a half.
Yeah, you guys
left to my devices.
Yeah, you guys' frequencies. Yeah. That was interesting. And I know you guys, we don't have to solve the riddle because Sharuka outclassed the Self Love Show today. Big ups Israel, and Sharuka's laughing about something. I wish I knew what it was. Yeah. So, but great job on everybody and their efforts. Next week, self love on the Self Love Show. We're going to get into the hemispheres of the mind. Are there, two conscious beings? Separate but equal beings within our avatars, and if they are, then that little bit of the brain that's separating our brain self is the whole thing. That's the glue that holds everything together. I mean, so we're it's some freaky stuff going on up there in the brain.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why they made the mass majority of our planet right-handed. And
they should try to beat it out of the lefties.
No, they did. They're not. You should like.
Well, I wish when you was coming up, they was beating the shit out of you for calling you evil. This guy's the devil. He's using his left hand.
Yeah, because they really wanted left brain thinking. They don't like the right brain thinking. One is creative and one is easily manipulated and manicured. So people that are naturally left-handed tend to use both hemispheres of their brain. People that are right-handed don't. There are a lot that do, but typically the normal do not use both of their sides of their brain in conjunction with each other.
Yeah, and that's why I was telling you last week I do simple tasks. Make myself conscious to do more simple tasks. Like even if I'm grabbing my mouthpiece, things you typically want to just. It does a couple things. It forces you, to your point, it exercises the other side of your mind, and it makes you more consciously aware of what you're doing as opposed to having your subconscious just running everything all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Truth.
like brushing my teeth, I might do the top half with my left hand and the bottom half with my right hand. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot to unpack. I'm actually looking forward to that.
So am I. I'm gonna do some research for that one.
Absolutely. And all right, y'all. So that brings us to my personal favorite part of the whole shebang, and that's wordsmiths. Final words out there. Oh crap.
Can turn it down a little.
All right. My mouse is tweaking. I'm taking from
That's
the
good.
top, too.
It's the liberty, the justice, the soul, and the peace. It's amalgamated by the prayers to the east to make the peace increase. We had a drone specialist. His amalgamation as a part of our nation will truly persist. Talked about many of important lessons. Most of it will translate into blessings. But you know me, I question everything, because from my spirit and soul I bring the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of my people. Y'all know there's no equal. But my people consist of like minds that elevate beyond places and times. It's a spirit that you need to get near it. The evil ones on this planet fear it. Because we're sincere with what we bring here. And we do it without the state of fear. You can go from far or near. But I'm going to peer into the rabbit hole and follow it as deep as it goes, because the rhythm of my spirit and the frequency chose to expose what is fake and unreal. So don't mistake me to be a part of your regular network, because this ain't that. In fact, I smack the whack all day. My verbal interactions set a trap to let me know where your mind is at. I'm similar to a drone because I control this avatar from the unknown. Because I'm not really here. My high consciousness is making an appearance. That's why I love life. It's the best thing happening. So we thank Matt Stoddard for coming on and sitting down with us and having a conversation that we created from the dust. also we got this information that we must put into action. You need to be you at all times and only concern yourself with your satisfaction.
And think before your reaction.
Because if you're the best that you can be, it helps develop the rest of we. Words.
Words. The republic is to be free.
Most definitely.
Well done, good brother. That was magnanimous, bro. That was magnanimous. So thank you for listening to our show on U.S. drone operators and drone tech. In this episode, we unpack how drones have become a vital tool for various governmental organizations, local and federal industries, especially in the U.S. We did break down some of the current and future applications. Let me hit that mute there, fella. We did explore some of the current and future applications of drone tech, such as delivery, surveillance, and a little bit disaster relief. We talked about the fire departments, but we unpacked so much more. Big ups to our guest, Matt Stoddard. I'd definitely say he's not pink. I can qualify him. Yeah, he's first white individual to step up to the plate and join the give back gang. So big solid ups. Big ups. We if you have any questions, comments, or feedback on today's show, feel free to drop a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe. And once again, big ups to our guest, Matt Stoddard, for building with us. Remember, ask not what the culture can do for you, but what you can do for the culture. As always, question everything, but don't answer questions. The Self Love Show ain't Kansas, Dorothy. Continue to peer down these rabbit holes. Do your own research. Do your own research. Use caution. Because as Self Love said in his final words, sometimes when you stare into the abyss, it stares right back at you. Till next time, peace and self-love. All right, big ups to my man, Kai Zodiac.
Kai Zodiac.
Yeah.
The beast on the beats.
And the vocals.
Do you think you are the one? Honestly, I don't
Should have said beats over the beats. I don't know that he made the track.
You know what that means?
Yeah. His the visuals be dope too. He'd be doing like a lot of cartoon, a lot of animated stuff. Yeah, and CG stuff like NASA.
Like the picture of the globe, Earth.
Yeah. Bullets are boomerangs.
Stand your ground.
Murder is suicide.
Yeah, well, you know, an eye for an eye.
Silence is violence.
You see something, say something.
Twill, squales. Woo-hoo. Woo-hoo. Slave theory. That's how you're gonna make a slave. Program in the greed, the ego, and the fear. And now you got yourself a perfect little slave out there.
No doubt. Because charity plus humility times love is freedom, y'all.
Free your mind. No matter what you're told, it's your right as a human being. Do not answer questions.
Hey, No matter what you hear, where you hear it, or where it come from, question everything.
I got a question. Boy, they used to hate me in classes and training, boy. I got a question. The pledging. Hey, Dean, I got a question. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, big ups. Fear's cap. It's an illusion, y'all.
So vibrate love.
Vibrate it, y'all. It's a frequency. And forgiveness is the highest love vibration.
No doubt. Man, do something charitable for a so-called enemy and end the beef. We need to run together, y'all.
Thanks. I once heard, man, well, you know how we say on the Self Love Show, so I ain't heard this nowhere. We actually came up with it. Healthy people, heal thy people.
Because we all know from experience that hurt people gonna try to hurt people.
Free Larry Hoover, man.
Free Chief Malik, Jeff Fort.
Free all the guys while you at it.
Yeah, man, because prison is slavery.
Be Yahusha. Walk on water.
Man, no doubt, bro. Move mountains.
A mountain? Are you kidding me? How we gonna move a mountain, G?
They say all we need is the faith of a mustard seed. And that just get right on out the way.
Being the one is just like
You already know we got way more faith than that.
no one can tell you you're in love. You just know it. Through and through. Balls to bones.
Vibrate love, y'all. Self-love, honor, and respect.